Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Let me fix this. Hold on. Shout out to everybody. Can y'all hear me? My bad. Thug life. You know what I'm saying? I just went live. I was listening to a little bit of the blog I did. Shout out to everybody that came into the live, you know what I mean, right before this one. But we getting back to business. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I'm seeing some news. Bruh, I was out earlier and my Twitter was blowing up in my DMs. People like, yo, Piperboy Williams, do you know what's going on? I'm like, what is y'all talking about? They're like, yo, it was another attempt on Trump. I'm like, what? I don't know, bruh. So, like, you know, I went home, you know what I mean? Made sure the kids was good. You know, came in here, made a blog about, like, you know, something that's going on in entertainment. And then I'm like, yo, let me sit down with y'all and kind of figure out what's going on. Shout out to everybody. So it says, U.S. police release detail on third Trump that attempt, right? Assassination attempt. Let's listen to this and see what's going on. This is crazy.
On the assassination, a third assassination attempt, I should say, on Donald Trump. Let's listen in.
Further on today about the arrest, and so I am here to give you as much information as I can. I will answer all of the questions that you have. Keep in mind that the information that I'm going to give you may not be all of the information that I have, but because of what we're doing and because of the investigation that will obviously continue concerning this, there are some things that I cannot give you or that I will not give you, but I will do everything I can to answer your questions. So to begin with, yesterday afternoon.
Hey, shout out to Sugar Black for coming in here. I appreciate you.
Before former President Trump arrived to the rally.
Hit the like button if you can. I appreciate that if you hit the like button. I appreciate that.
We made contact with an individual on the inner perimeter of our operation at the rally. As you can imagine, this was a very large event. In regard to previous attempts on the former president's life, this was not something that we were taking lightly. We had a very detailed plan in place on how we were going to keep not only the former president safe, but all of the...
Yeah, that's what it says. It says U.S. police release detail on third Trump assassination attempt. There's like a lot of different news networks have this out right now. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like, I was out chilling and my phone was like, bro, whoever they trying to get rid of, that is who I'm voting for. Like, if they, that's who I'm voting for, bro.
Participants or the attendees of the rally safe. So in general terms, I will tell you that we had a larger outside perimeter and then an inside perimeter that was completely controlled by us, by Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, and both of them...
This is literally insane. Literally insane. My bad. I think I was like kind of blowing y'all ears out when I was screaming. Thug life. I just fixed it.
Served different purposes. We did not keep residents...
Let me know. Am I too loud? I got the volume limiter on. I know I'm going crazy. Thug life. Let me know if the volume is good. Because I did a blog like before. It was like the one before this and the volume was kind of low. So I cranked up the gain. You know what I'm saying? And made a little bit of alterations to the compressor and the limiter. You know what I'm saying? So let me know if it's blowing your ears out or if it's good, if it's loud.
From their homes, we did not keep...
Blue Dream, shout out to you. Music Junkies Podcast, we back. Shout out to you. What do y'all think about this? This is a problem. We got people in America that are trying to take out the presidential candidate. I'm voting for that person that they trying to take out. I don't care what y'all say. Thug life. Why would I want somebody that everybody's going to be cool with? Hit the like button. Thug life. There's a reason why they trying to take Trump out. I don't know why. Maybe he's trying to go against the powers that be. Maybe that's the deal. 3 attempts. Why isn't the Democratic Party coming out saying, y'all need to calm down? Y'all should not be trying to take out a presidential candidate. Why are they not coming out saying that? You know what I see them saying? It ain't that. They being very, very interesting with some of the things they're coming out with. They're even like, in my opinion, I feel like they're enticing things like this.
Same thing, along with a bunch of other wild, crazy
Hold on. I think she gets it.
crap. This is MSNBC, folks.
And this man is running around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities, right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to...
No, you're a dangerous professor telling people that the ex-president who's running to be reelected needs to be busting his mouth. Why are y'all not taking the opportunities to get on y'all platform to say, hey, we are going to have a fair election? Why are y'all not doing that? Why is that a problem? This is ridiculous. Y'all are further inciting this. People are very impressionable, obviously. And y'all are inciting this.
Around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities, right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous.
It's crazy.
He's dangerous to particular people. And the history of the country is such that we can't play fast and loose with it.
He don't even know what he's talking about. Music Junkies podcast. These politics are crazy, are getting crazy with the $4.99. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. Thug Life. You get a special Thug Life. Shout out to you for supporting this.
Fast and loose with it. Does that make sense?
Because you already know I could be talking about entertainment, all that. Art, from Art of Dialogue, dropping content. All these people say cheese. They say I can use their content. All this. I could be dropping all of this content. But I'm in here because we got an election coming up and people need to pay attention and focus on what's going on. These guys is dangerous.
Incumbent on all of us to protect the people who are in danger by him.
But you never have. That's the rub. You never have.
Now, of course, Nicole Walz didn't challenge any of that insane rhetoric, including the comment about busting Trump in the face. And about his claims that Trump is a danger. No, she just agreed with him. All this after 2 assassination attempts in 2 months.
They could have said something.
People that were traveling.
I mean, these Democrats are so like angry, bro. They're like mad at everything, bro. They don't even want to be like reasonable anymore. Like, I don't get it. Let me see if I can show y'all, bro. It's this lady that literally just went crazy. I think I showed y'all her.
Suburban, rural, and probably not that well educated.
You mean like those people over there?
Yep.
Okay. What made you come to the conclusion to kind of categorize people like that based on their political leanings?
I watch the news.
Do you honestly think that most of his supporters are racist or prejudiced?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Would
do.
you be willing to go over and talk to one right now and maybe see if we can bridge a divide and
No.
maybe talk?
Absolutely not. I haven't got time for them. I don't have time for them.
You wouldn't be willing just to hear their side and maybe prove you wrong so you can have a different outlook on a majority of the country?
No.
So right behind us.
That's crazy.
Through the area from going through if they had a legitimate reason to go through. So the outside perimeter was basically to allow people in that we thought belonged there. The inside perimeter was to make sure people were proceeding in the right direction. The way it worked yesterday is only people that were allowed inside the perimeter, the outside perimeter in a vehicle was if you lived there or if you had documentation that said you were going to this rally in the form of an email with VIP credentials or press credentials. Those vehicles were allowed in. There were no other vehicles allowed. So that outside perimeter are I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later, but we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birth date is 10/26 of 1974. And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and to and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in, there were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed.
This is crazy. You said, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. All of y'all are subscribing. Let me see how many subscribers we got. Let me play this.
That the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had.
We got 7,798 subscribers in the past 7-8 days. That's y'all, man. Like, so shout out to y'all.
An obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from.
And then Danielle H with the $5 donation said 2,000 Mules documentary on Rumble proves election was stolen. They tracked ballots, phones, and solved a murder of a girl. Oh wow, really? I may have to check. I'm gonna call somebody and see if I can like kind of react to some Rumble stories, but it's kind of difficult because YouTube, like, you can't even say bad words on YouTube anymore. Like it's so, like, you know what I mean? Like, you say a bad word, they want to like limit the video and stuff like that. That's why people are going to Rumble. So I may have to see about maybe getting a deal or something like that on Rumble so I can go over there and like kind of react to some stuff or see what I can and can't react to on here.
Our deputy into why the person was there and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered, and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade.
But Danielle H, shout out to you for the donation and the information. I will follow up on that. Shout out to you.
And indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens, and assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found, in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun.
Wow.
Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case in the future. Right now.
Okay, that's where we leave that media conference, but we have a few more details from police there in California about this third.
That is insane, bro. Wow.
Hi, my name.
And he's still like trying to run to fix his country, and they're trying to take his life. That is sad, man. Like, we've gotten to this point in America, we can't deal with people having alternative opinions. That's crazy. And this dude is rich. Like, Trump is rich. He don't have to be dealing with this. Oh, well, he's rich. He got to deal with it for his friend. Like, no, he don't have to deal with this at all. Like, y'all think he's having fun, like sitting around, and every time he goes on the internet, he's being bullied by liberals. Y'all think he's having fun with that? I don't think that's fun. I don't think it's fun, like, when you're sitting there just talking to people that you think are your supporters and somebody comes out and tries to take your ear off or your head off. That's not fun, having to walk around with Secret Service and, you know what I'm saying, they know when you use the bathroom, they, you know what I mean, they got to stand next to the porta potty. Like, that's crazy to live that type of life, to try to fix things going on in America. And right now they're trying to allow people to vote without voter ID, allegedly. Thug life. That's the problem. All of this is going on. Kamala Harris is on Univision pandering to people that are illegal. Not all of them are illegal, but the lady that was talking about her parents are here illegally and she didn't get the proper health care that she deserved, and she was illegal. And this lady is on Univision, like, being sympathetic to her, when she should be telling this lady, I'm sorry, ma'am, there's crime that's been going up in America. You know what I mean? And sometimes it is like people who are illegal coming over here and committing crime. We would like y'all, if y'all gonna come over here, Come over here legally, and then like you can request whatever services that you may need, but it has to be legal. She didn't tell none of them that. She sat there and she pandered. This is crazy, man. Like we don't know who's being allowed to come into this country, bro. Like we don't know, and they don't care. They want these people coming in from different countries at the polls voting. That way they don't have to worry about you or me.
Hi, my name is Carrie Kramer. I am the ex-wife of Philip Kramer, and I have something personal to share about Kamala Harris that's been weighing on me for years. Kamala Harris didn't just destroy my husband's career, she destroyed my family. Philip Kramer was a respected attorney who fought for homeowners after the 2008 mortgage crisis. He stood up to the big banks and tried to bring justice for those who were cheated out of their homes. But Kamala Harris, she didn't care about justice, she cared about her political future.
Wow. Let me show you how advantageous like Kamala Harris is. Let me show y'all this. Just so y'all can get a little bit of perspective of who this lady is. This is what's being sanitized from the internet with Kamala Harris. Montel, who was she with? Montel Williams? I typed in Montel Jordan. She's trying to be with Montel Williams. That's Kamala Harris. Right here. It's her. Latching on to some famous dude. That's Kamala. Kamala. This is Kamala right here, y'all. That's Kamala. Nobody's gonna tell y'all that. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, Thug Life. What was she doing? We hear of rumors about infidelity with Kamala Harris. We hear all these different things that she willing to do. Shout out to Lou G. Shout out to you, Thug Life. Christina Guy in the building. Transparent Judge in the building. Shout out to you. Alabama in the building. Nobody talks about this stuff about her. She's making up family members. Oh, y'all think I'm playing like Thug Life? Y'all think I'm playing? Do I gotta show y'all what my girl doing? Like my girl putting her on blast? I don't know Candace Owens, but that's my girl because she keep it real. She had to show y'all in a multi-series video. She had to show y'all that Kamala Harris is making up family members.
Because again, he went on to become the prime minister, ordered the arrest of all Rastafarians that are alive, police and military forces, and goods store on the busy main street leading away.
Why did Kamala Harris have to do all that work? And none of this is being talked about. Kamala, what's her name? Candace Owens, she got millions of views on these videos. Happened less than a week ago. I mean, over a week ago. 9 days. She cracked the code, the Da Vinci Code. She cracked it. Nobody is saluting her. She's showing family lineage. She goes back and does her research. She finds out the lady that this is like the Conjuring movie, bro. This is how scary this is. She finds out the lady that Kamala Harris is sitting on, like her lap, this is not her grandmother. Allegedly, Thug Life. This is the alleged hired help. And people were wondering, like, why isn't this lady looking at Kamala? If this is her grandmother, she got like a flat affect. Like, why is she not paying attention to her this is your grandkid. She got this kid on her lap. Like, I'm working for these people. They put this lady on my lap. Get this kid off me. That's what this looked like. Imagine like you at work and then your boss like, hold my kid. You like, I want to hold your kid. I don't like kids. Thug life, but you can't say it because you don't want to get fired.
The help. And I thought that because there's a lack of affection in the family. Quite literally, I thought to myself, this woman looks like she could be the help. And I thought that because there's a lack of affection there. Do you know what I mean? But there's no, like, in both of the photos, there's a lack of affection. It's just like a woman standing next to her. And I obviously know that that was a circumstance. When you're talking about a family that had a ton of plantations, which is the reality. She descends.
Kamala Harris's family that she's a descendant from had a lot of plantations. This is something that is not being talked about. Instead of this being talked about, we got Obama shaming African-American males for not voting blue. Hey, Barack Obama, you should not make this about color of skin. This is supposed to be a content of character. You should be happy that people are, so remember you said people need to read? Well, people are reading now. You know what they're reading? They're reading their bank statements over the past 4 years. Their credit card statements over the past 4 years. How much money they spent under this administration. It has been a lot. Thug life. And they may be like adding everything up and maybe thinking like, man, I did spend more money under this administration than I did the previous administration. I had more money. Interest rates was lower. I was able to buy a house. That's when I bought my house. Thug life. It's good having a house. I can paint it. I can do whatever I want. I got a hot tub. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got like a shed that I do my YouTube videos in, all that. You know what I'm saying? I go, like, my kids enjoying the movie in the house. I came out, enjoy myself, kick it with y'all. But, hey, under this administration, I don't know if I would be able to afford a house right now. Interest rates is crazy, like what, 6-point-something%? I got my house at 4.25% interest rates. So people are paying attention, Obama. They're looking at what they used to spend versus what they're spending. Hey, I got a Tesla, right? Because I didn't want to pollute the environment. And I didn't want to pay for gas. Thug life, it is what it is. Tell them the truth. I went to go renew my tags on my Tesla. Guess how much they charged me in Nashville, Tennessee? Because all y'all people coming here from Florida, I'm sorry, not from Florida, from California, New York, voting the same, right? So guess what they passed? So in Nashville, Tennessee, if you have an electric car, every year to renew your car, it's like $283. Almost $300 to renew my tags on my car just because I don't want to pollute the environment that y'all are trying to tell people what's going on. That's why they got to get an Ames test or you know what I mean, or what they call it, like, depending on where you live, emissions test. Right? But I don't want to deal with none of that. I just want a car, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be getting gas. I don't want to do, now I got to pay almost $300 a year, a Democratic situation, thug life. Why am I yelling? Because I'm mad and y'all not listening to me. This lady is making up family members. That is a problem. This is crazy. And this lady is talking about Kamala has ruined her life. This is insane. Let's listen to her.
About Kamala Harris that's been weighing on me for years. Kamala Harris didn't just destroy my husband's career, she destroyed my family. Philip Kramer was a respected attorney who fought for homeowners after the 2008 mortgage crisis. He stood up to the big banks and tried to bring justice for those who were cheated out of their homes. But Kamala Harris, she didn't care about justice. She cared about her political future. When she raided my husband's law firm and froze our assets, she didn't just ruin his career. She took everything, our savings, our children's college funds, even our boys' bank accounts that had $100 or so of birthday money from their grandparents.
This woman must be stopped. The way to stop Kamala is to vote red. This is crazy. Michael Deal said, bro, can I take you down my own rabbit hole in a minute?
She left us with nothing. No way to fight back. No way to recover. If it weren't for the financial help of...
That, like, she took her kids' birthday money from their grandparents. Took this dude's law firm. Cleaned this dude out. This is insane, bro. Trump life!
Family and friends, I really would be homeless right now. I watched my family fall apart. Also, Kamala Harris could cozy up.
Exactly. Pyrotrack said Kamala been a menace for a long time. Yeah, she has been, bro.
The banks and advance her career. The very theories that Philip developed to hold banks accountable, she used them to cut a deal and let them off with a slap on the wrist. Well,
whoa. Wow.
While my family was left in ruin, she claimed victory. I'm drowning in debt. There's no way I can ever recover from this. My children and I paid the price for her ambition. We were collateral damage, and I'm speaking out now because the truth needs to be heard. What she did wasn't justice, it was political manipulation at the highest level, and we're still living with the consequences. Kamala Harris.
Y'all hit the like button, support this video so it can go out to more people. I feel like the algorithm is gonna probably lower this video and not let this video be seen by a lot of people. That's what I feel like. This is a serious situation this lady's talking about. This lady even went after her kids' birthday money for her political ambitions. This is insane. This is insane.
Harris may have moved on to higher offices, but we're still picking up the pieces of what she left behind. So much for her rhetoric about middle-class families being the backbone of America. She decimated mine.
So much for the rhetoric that she always spews in every single rally and every single debate and every single interview where she, A, talks about being all for small businesses, B, that she went after the banks with transnational gangs and stopping the flow of fentanyl across United States borders.
Hey, Anton Daniels, remember she did that 60 Minutes interview and the guy that actually covers the border said that there's been the quadruple, you know, the numbers have quadrupled in the past 2 years, people coming in and flooding in. So she said that she cut fentanyl coming into America by half, but it's still, you know what I mean, doubled. So it's like she's cutting a little bit of it coming in, but there's more of it coming in just by the way the numbers work. So like she's bringing, like, this is insane. She ruined this lady's life. And I've seen videos of people that have been wrongfully convicted under Kamala, like super upset about what is going on right now. And they are not falling for it.
How do I know this? How do I know her speech by heart? Well, I'll tell you. I don't need to wait for you to ask me. I know this because she said it 100 million times, and it's been a part of her script so much that we can literally re-quote and memorize and then recite to you guys what she says every single day. So much so to where when I seen Obama scolding black men about not supporting Kamala Harris and saying, don't let me go and get Michelle against you guys, when he was doing all of that, he was actually using some of the same talking points, which almost makes me a little bit skeptical because I'm wondering, is Obama really the one that's running everything? You know what I'm saying? Was he the one that had his hands inside of Joe Biden's back and was controlling the puppet behind the scenes? Because we all knew that Sleepy Joe, you know, it was time for him to go and hang out with the...
Anton Daniels, I got one better for you, right? Kamala, her own party people don't believe in her anymore. Her own party people don't believe in her anymore. This is the Young Turks, 6 million followers, right? This guy is one of the spearheads of the liberal movement. Look at the title. Kamala Harris now losing the race.
Oftentimes, I have not been this worried in a long time. So we don't have a lot of time left. We have less than a month left, and she's now losing in almost all the swing states.
Him saying this is a big deal. She is losing in almost all of the swing states. Shout out to Michael Deal with the $2 donation. Video pictures of crooks before pew, but no backpack. Interesting.
So I'm going to go break down all the numbers for you guys. They don't look great. I'm going to give you what people in D.C. are saying, Democratic Party are saying, Republican pollsters, everyone across the board, how are the markets doing, et cetera. First, look, I'm telling you this, not again to ha-ha or whatever. I'm telling you because the pundits are almost always wrong. They never come back and tell you, oh, yeah, we got it wrong, et cetera. They don't tell you oftentimes.
I'll say this. Shout out to you, bro, for keeping it real. Because a person like him, it's hard for him to keep it real on situations like this. Because he's got people he got to make happy. He's got a brand that he's built off of the backs of the liberals supporting him, putting him in a situation where he's got 6 million followers. And he's basically super worried right now. But Kamala's got all the money in the world for her campaign. All the money in the world. They said she got like $500 million, all of this, right? And she tried to give it to social media influencers that are not falling for it. Trump is just doing the rallies. It's a grassroots movement, if you ask me. People say, oh, well, Trump, this and that. He's racist. He's getting a lot of support from African Americans, from what I see. Thug life. People supporting him, they standing up for Trump. Then we see these videos. They standing up for Trump. They bad at Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama. The audacity of you to say to us that we are required and we better vote for Kamala Harris and that we don't want to.
They had enough of this. You're not about to sit around and tell us who to vote for. You're not about to shame us when you haven't done anything for us.
I see a woman in a position of power.
Ridiculous.
Watching this one, I got another one from the other side. All righty, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You about to vote?
Yeah.
Who you voting for?
Trump.
Come on, bro. Harris does backwards, bro.
What?
Harris.
Man, we not voting for that, man. We voting for Trump, man.
And who you?
They tired. They tired of it.
Assassination attempt on
They
Donald.
trying to assassinate him.
Ahead of time.
They don't believe in him.
Old people in the senior citizens home. We all know that Kamala Harris, her competency, so when she then spews this nonsense and say that I went after transnational gangs and all of this stuff, but whose life did you ruin in the process? And so I don't know how accurate this woman is, and she's a Kramer or something, and she's actually starting to go viral, and people are starting to send this to me. So I said, okay, well, let's evaluate it and let's look at it from all sides, right? Kamala Harris says that she went after big banks, but this woman is saying that her ex-husband is the one that pioneered the way in which you go about winning and being on the side of the people over there in California to then win these victories for the big banks. Also, on top of that, we know that nationally, and let me just make sure that I got these facts correct. You guys can go and check me. that hardly nobody, I think it was only one guy that did a little bit of time, and he just, took his little slap on the wrist, but no.
Yo, this girl said we not falling for it no more.
It's going to be a lot like what we've seen with President Joe Biden, and we all know what that looks and feels like. And Kamala Harris is quite a flip-flopper on her stances, and this one is going to be happening in record time. She appeared on The View in the afternoon, then hit a late-night show that evening, and this is what she said about her presidency and what it's going to look like.
Folks are ready to turn the page. It's like, let's chart a new way forward. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of Americans, regardless of their party, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they're ready for a new generation of leadership that is about solutions and common sense and finding common ground. And that is what I am offering.
And when Colbert tries to really pin her down on an answer about what would change, here's her response.
Polling shows that a lot of people, especially independent voters, really want this to be a change election. And that they tend to break for you in terms of thinking about change. You are a member of the present administration.
Actually, people are worried. Steve Colbert, I know you're liberal. I know you're super trying to put on for her right now. I know this is fake news, right? People aren't looking for her for change anymore. People are now figuring out she's more of the same. So let's see what you're going to say about her.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I noticed.
And so that would be one change in terms of... But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have...
This is ridiculous. She always, this is her go-to. She she thinks we are so not smart to continue this rhetoric and sound bites over and over and over again. This is mind-blowing. She is blowing hot air. She's getting paid. She is not going to do anything for y'all. She's going to talk about, well, I grew up in a good family. And I grew up in, we gotta have hope in America. In America, there's hope. We gotta have, that's all she gonna say. Thug life. You gotta pick the lesser of the two evils. And right now, I think she is all the way on the side of keeping things exactly how they are.
Aspirations. We have dreams. We have incredible work ethic, and
she's selling you a dream with no results. Good dreams, aspirations. You just have to believe. It's just a belief thing. You have to believe in everything. You just have to believe. Yeah, we believe that prices is too high, Kamala. Maybe we should ask Montel Williams, what your thought process really was. Because you can't tell us, who you really are. Nobody's going to share this with y'all. Hit the subscribe button. Thug life.
And I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow.
A perfect politician's non-answer. And you'll find that if you go through Kamala Harris's interviews and when she's asked about changes she's going to make or how she's going to come up with solutions to problems, she gives this same word salad answer every time. Americans are ambitious. We're optimistic. We have...
You see what I'm saying? She's picking up on it. She's intelligent. She understands what's going on. Shout out to her. Her name is Amala Ekpunobui. That's a dope name. I can't even say it. It's dope. 34,000 likes, 2.1 million subscribers. She understands what it is.
Word salad answer every time. Americans are ambitious. We're optimistic. We have dreams.
Yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams.
Hold on, y'all. Can you hand me that water? Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
And ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
But she doesn't talk about how she's going to make those dreams take place. And even if she did,
she catching on. I mean, shit, well, she's smart. She already know. Thug life. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
have solutions to our problems or ways for us to chase our dreams and be more aspirational here in the United States, because that's how we Americans are, you can't really trust that she's going to even stick to her original answer. Kamala Harris is known to flip-flop on any given occasion, on any given topic. She sort of licks her finger, sticks it out, and moves her answer in whichever way the wind is blowing. And today we're going to go through some of her flip-flop answers.
Oh, you done made her mad, Kamala. They not playing with you out here. Like, you cannot sit here and just give us the same sound bites all the time and play with art. Like, Kamala, go crazy. Oh, go crazy. Thug life.
With taking your guns away. In our most recent 2024 presidential debate, Kamala Harris said this about taking people's guns away.
Then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Look how she could just, like, imagine if Trump turned around, looked at her, and did, oh, he's bullying her. Oh, Trump is doing too much. He needs to stop. Why y'all letting him bully? Y'all should have stopped him. But she's allowed to do whatever she wants. He's getting fact-checked by multiple different people. She's sitting there bullying him. She allegedly got an earring that's allegedly got a microphone in it. And, like, you know what I'm saying? People feeding her information or speaker. Allegedly. Let him do one of these things. Y'all gonna have a major, major problem.
Needs to practice what they preach and stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. Less than a week later, Kamala Harris tweeted out this picture. Congress must renew the assault weapons ban. Ban assault weapons. She's also said this when asked about her gun control agenda.
Thanks to your gun control agenda? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. But I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act.
So you're blaming Congress, but you are the president. Don't you have any type of influence on Congress? Can you, like, maybe try to force your people to do some sort of bipartisan deal to try to get something to go through? Because all I hear from Kamala Harris, right, or Kamala Harris, I don't want to say your name wrong, shout out to you. All I hear from her and Mr. Tim Walz, right, is they're blaming, like, Trump and saying Trump still has too much influence on Congress. So if Trump has a lot of influence on Congress and Trump can actually get things to pass, but people won't pass things because it's going to be a political issue that he's going to have to overcome, right? Trump has the power. This is what y'all keep saying, but y'all are in office and you can't do nothing because Trump is the person that has power. Why should you be in power? If Trump is out here saying he wants to do away with taxes on overtime, and he more than likely can get that passed, why are you in power? Do y'all see this? Why do you want to vote for somebody that has no ability to change anything? I remember when Trump was in office, right? Wasn't Nancy Pelosi like trying to stop everything? And when Trump is giving speeches, she doing all that, but she's trying to stop everything from even making it into the House. Where were y'all at standing up at that point? Like, nah, Nancy Pelosi, you know, we got a situation going on. I don't know if I can say it. Pandemic, thug life. We got that going on. And, you know, like, you need to, like, let some of this stuff pass. Y'all didn't, like, step up and say nothing like that. But now that y'all don't have power in the Congress and y'all can't get things to go, now it's like, oh, well, we blaming Trump for everything. Why are you in office? What are you able to do? You literally said on The View, you are not going to do anything differently than Biden. Well, she didn't say she's not going to do anything differently. She said that she can't think of a thing different that she would do. but you want us to vote for you. Where's the change? And now you got Obama sitting out there trying to shame us for not believing in you. And you're not giving us anything to believe in other than we believe you that you are, you grew up in a small middle class home and your mom was a small business owner. We believe that. You said that a lot of times. You went on the Howard Stern show and they uploaded a video of you talking about your mom. We get that you have a mom. We get that she was a good mom. What are you going to do for us? When you're getting pressed on 60 Minutes and the guy said people are concerned because they're paying more money at the grocery store. You avoided it all that time, but you had to say something. And you heard what she said. She was like, oh, well, you know, prices are too high. She had to admit it. She didn't want to. She had to. Because she got asked a real question. And now she's on Univision pandering to people that are here illegally. Not all of them. I'm just talking about that one specific situation where the lady was talking about her parents were here illegally and she felt like her parents should be getting the health care that they deserve, that everybody gets, even when they're not legal. And she wanted Kamala Harris to say that she's going to make sure illegal people who are living in the shadows are going to get the health care that they deserve in America. Why would she say that? And if you're going to be on Univision talking to these people, you need to tell them to come here legally. Why is nobody pressing Kamala Harris right now? And what do you think about California thinking about doing away with voter ID? Nobody's pressing this lady on that because they're scared that they're not going to get the interview.
And that is why, from the beginning, I have said my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. She will take executive action to have your guns taken away. And funnily enough,
she will have executive action to take your blicks away. She is walking around with Secret Service that got blicks on them, but she want to take your blicks away so that you would be defenseless. She wants to do mandatory buybacks.
years ago in a Democratic primary debate, Joe Biden criticized Kamala Harris for this stance and said it was unconstitutional.
Your first 100 days, including banning imports of AR-15 assault weapons.
That's right.
President Obama, after Sandy, took more than 23 executive actions, and yet here we all are today. In recent days, former Vice President Biden has said about executive orders, some really talented people are seeking the nomination. They said, I'm going to issue an executive order. Biden saying there's no constitutional authority to issue that executive order when they say I'm going to eliminate assault weapons, saying you can't do it by executive order any more than Trump can do things when he says he can do it by executive order. Does the Vice President have a point there?
Some things you can.
Look at her, like, you see her eyes? She don't know what's going on. Look at her eyes.
Days, former Vice President Biden has said about executive orders, some really talented people are seeking the nomination. They said, I'm going to issue an executive order. Biden saying there's no constitutional authority to issue that executive order when they say I'm going to eliminate assault weapons, saying you can't do it by executive order any more than Trump can do things when he says he can do it by executive order. Does the Vice President have a point there?
Some things you can, many things you can't.
Let's let the Senator answer.
Let's see how she answers this.
I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
Let's be constitutional.
Wow. They are coming after our blicks, bro.
We got a constitution.
Yes, she's reiterated her stance on taking guns away on Jimmy Fallon's late night show.
Do you believe in the mandatory buyback of quote-unquote assault weapons? And whether or not you do,
hit the subscribe button. Stop playing with me. Thug Life, hit the subscribe button.
how does that idea not go against fundamentally the Second Amendment?
Yeah.
We're going to do subscribers only in a second.
I do believe that we need to do buybacks, and I'll tell you why.
And this is all very interesting because in many an interview recently, Kamala Harris has openly spoken about the fact that she owns a Glock that she's used on many occasions. Let's hear her on 60 Minutes say exactly that.
So what kind of gun do you own, and when and why did you get it?
Yo, I can't even play this because they do not want us playing their stuff. Matt, you said Billy P. I got it on subscribers only. The chat was going too fast. I want to slow it down. If you subscribe, I will, like, you know, if you got a good question or whatever, I'll respond. Billy P said Matthew Pearson, my last. Hold on, somebody said she been lying. Wow.
Real quick, have you?
Somebody said she's insane. Sugar Black said she sounds hilarious. Yeah, that's why I do subscribers only, because the chat like be going crazy and it slows it down to where it's like, if you subscribe, fine, you know what I mean? But if not, it's okay too. Daniela H said, aren't Glocks illegal in California? I don't even know. Hey, Daniela H, you know what's crazy? I don't even want to go to California ever. Like, I went there once and, like, you know, I've got, you know, like a license to carry. I don't want to go to states to where I can't, like, defend myself if something go down. You see what I'm saying? So I try to stay out of there. But I know they got some of the strictest control laws, like, out of everybody. They got strict control laws. You got Chicago, you know what I mean? Illinois got, like, strict control laws. So it's like, they just allow crime to run rampant. They don't want citizens to be able to defend themselves. It's like, I can't do that, man. Shout out to Tatted Up, said, I subscribe, I like your content, I appreciate you.
You shot a gun?
Yes, I have.
What? Tell us about the last time.
No.
Yeah, but do you like hunt?
Wait, so, oh, yo, hey, Amala is catching Kamala up. Yo, like, he's like, yo, so have you ever, like, basically used one?
Her relationship with this Glock that she owns.
Real quick, have you shot a gun?
Yes, I have.
What? Tell us about the last time.
No.
Yeah, but do you like hunt or like?
See, she just laughed. Like, what are you gonna do about the world? I don't know. That's what she does. This is her whole, like, gimmick. She just laughs about everything.
What do you do?
I'm a good marksman. Yes, I have shot a gun many times.
You're a good marksperson with a pistol or a rifle?
A pistol. And I'm not, that's it. I'm not going any further with this.
Concealed weapon permit or?
I'm not going any further with this.
She getting caught up. She just think, like, if I laugh hard enough, they will stop asking me questions. If I laugh hard enough, they're gonna stop asking me questions.
So why won't you explain what you use the gun for, why you have it?
Exactly. Like, is she using it for hunting? Is she, you know what I mean? Shout out to you. Like she up on game, bro. She know exactly what's going on.
Don't want to talk about whether or not you have a weapons permit for the firearm. That's really interesting. And it's so weird that we're suddenly hearing about this Glock because when Kamala Harris was a district attorney in San Francisco, she promoted banning handguns. And I'm not the only one who's suspicious about this. Many have asked her to prove that she has a registered weapon. And we also have this article out of New York Post. Let's read the headline. Kamala Harris says she owns a Glock despite supporting handgun bans in San Francisco, prompting speculation it's unregistered. Will we ever find out the truth there? I'm gonna guess not. And even so, it's an inconsistent opinion considering that she supported handgun bans, but let's move on. In her 2024 presidential debate, Kamala Harris said she had no intention of banning fracking.
I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States.
This is really interesting considering we have this video.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Elijah Gardner, shout out to you. You're a subscriber. He said, do people actually take Kamala serious? I don't.
So,
and then Sarah Ruth, shout out to you for subscribing, said her cackling is like ammo to my ears. Yo, you is wild, Sarah. Like, hold up.
Yeah. So either Kamala Harris actually does want to ban fracking, or she's so open-minded and so willing to change her heart based on the things she hears. And if that's the case, how can we ever hold her to anything that she says ever?
You can't. You can't. All she does is laugh, and people get upset, and then you got, I don't know. I mean, people are starting to believe it like he believes it.
Because new polls are out, and it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris.
Kamala, things are not going good, bro.
Democracy. He's a dictator wannabe. So, okay, should you shoot at him? Of course not. Any action that is physical like that or violent is a surrender in the intellectual field of debate and ideas. So it's a terrible idea, it's immoral, etc. But I'm not going to let up on Donald Trump for 1 second rhetorically, because he is a monster, and he tried to terminate our Constitution. He tried to steal an election. I've never seen anyone so...
He's talking about somebody trying to steal an election. Yo, hey, somebody said I need to go to Rumble and look at that video. I'm going to look at that video to see what's going on with the election. I got the notes written over here.
So despicable in American politics. And by the way, there's another reason why I'm angry at him, because I'm a populist, and he took populism and he perverted it to just turning into his own personal con. He's such a slimy con man. I loathe him. Everyone should vote against him. He's one of the worst people I have ever seen in politics, and I'm not going to let him terminate the Constitution or destroy this democracy.
You see, what I find extraordinary, Cenk, is you haven't even given it a beat since he nearly had his brains blown out on Sunday.
This is why I like Piers Morgan, bro. A lot of people do not like this. He said, no, I like Piers Morgan. The thing with him, even though he may be liberal at times, like he's like really liberal, like he tries to, when he has a panel, he tries to be midline, right? I like that. And shout out to Candace Owens. You got Candace Owens. Candace Owens, thug life. You've been doing your thing. We rocking with you. This all black men don't like Candace Owens. Yes, we do. We think she fired. Shout out. I rock with her.
Down a golf course, which came 2 months after.
Did he give a beat, Piers? Did he give a beat? Did he ever give a beat when he constantly talks about violence? Hey, if someone takes out somebody from with a stretcher, I'm picking.
Yo, somebody said can't take these accents serious. Hey, you want to see a Kamala accent, bro? Bro, you gonna laugh. Let me look, bro. This time she Jamaican.
Empathy man. Yes. You know, for the empathy man. Yes. You know, for the suffering of other people, have you no sense of purpose? Empathy man. Yes. You know, for the suffering of other people.
Hey, not needed. Shout out to you for subscribing. Said if white people want to use racism for the black people, good, this is the time. And Kelly Fleming, shout out to you, said Jamaican me crazy. Like, yo, look, like, yo, they put the whole Jamaican, like the Marley on her, bro. This is crazy.
Empathy man. Yes. You know, for the suffering of other people, have you?
This is crazy, bro.
Pay the legal bills, attack people. Oh, my political opponents, I'm going to jail them. I'm going to attack them.
Well, to be clear, well, hang on. To be clear, you're trying to equate him making a joke about maybe slapping or punching someone in a crowd who's abusing him with someone.
Can I make a joke
with
about
someone taking an AK
Trump across the face?
Hang on, was somebody
can I make that joke?
Was somebody
can I make that joke, Piers?
Hang on, somebody actually shooting.
Shout out to Piers Morgan, man. He don't be playing with these people, bro.
Him on a rally stage and then very nearly shooting him on a golf course with an AK-47. Do you not see the difference?
So, Piers, those are.
I like how she looking. She's examining everything this dude is saying. She's super calm, collected. She's getting ready to break him down if he messes up. I like her, bro.
Terrible actions. So what am I'm asking you a literal question. What do you want me to just go?
Could you give it a beat?
Okay, now Donald Trump's a good. Hold on, let me finish the question.
On a human level,
Donald Trump's a good guy. Donald Trump loves democracy. Donald Trump's still the same.
Man, these like liberals be so angry. Just calm down, bro. Like let him talk. Let him moderate. This is not the Young Turks. And this is how he acts. But then he's even coming to the conclusion that there is a problem.
Because new polls are out and it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris.
But you were just like super overzealous here.
Monster he was yesterday. So I hate that people are shooting at him. It's so dumb. It's immoral. It's wrong.
Why would you be surprised?
I can't condemn it any stronger.
Why would you be surprised?
I'm not going to tell you that Donald Trump is a decent man.
But Cenk,
when
why
he's
would
a
you
grotesque human being?
Why would you be surprised that people are taking drastic action? Unhinged people with.
Old Edo said, "Let's see what Candace has to say. She is pure fire." Yes, she is.
unhinged brains who are listening to constant rhetoric from people.
You didn't answer the question.
Well,
what do you want me to do? You want me to politically surrender,
I'm asking you a question. Do you not consider for a moment that within 48 hours you're still saying monster, demagogue, dictator, blah,
yes,
blah, blah,
that's
blah?
Because that's who he is.
Yes, but this is what is
affecting... So you want me to lie?
Yeah, because...
Here's, tell me this.
Because
do you want me to lie?
Let me finish. The shooter at the golf course, specifically in his recent social media posts, parroted Kamala Harris, saying that he was effectively an existential threat to democracy in America. You're doing the same. Does nothing make you pause?
You're insane.
Hillary Clinton's doing the same.
Trump does it too.
This is crazy, bro. He's doing the ad hominem attacks. You're insane. You're this. You're that. Just argue your point. That's what you do when you lose a point. You use ad hominem attacks. This is what, like, in battle rap, there's like a battle rapper thesaurus, right? If I post something on Twitter, he always gets on there and he'll say something to the contrary. So all I would do is, like, if there's a point, I just tag him underneath the point. That's it. He's like, oh, you're this and that for the, like, you're like this and that for because you like the Republicans, you this and that. And ad hominem attacks. It's crazy. This is how liberals can get. And they want to call the Red Party dangerous. I wouldn't want to be in a room with somebody like this. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. I would be like, whoa. Maybe we do not need to defund the police because we need to be protected from this kind of anger. Meanwhile, Candace Owens is just sitting there, comfortable, poised, not cutting anybody off.
1,000 times worse.
So because you think he does it,
so your great idea is Democrats shouldn't campaign against your beloved Donald Trump because some moron, mentally unstable guy took a shot at him. Okay, or two of them did. You know what? I can protect Donald Trump. Ban assault weapons. That'll protect Donald Trump way more than any of
But when you're walking around with security, Kamala Harris walking around with security, don't y'all want them to have something like that? What if the Democrats got their way, right? They took all of the them type of blicks, you know what I'm saying, out the equation, right? Let's just say they had to have their personal security having a regular hand thing, right? And then let's just say somebody that got an AR coming to, like, spraying up the place. What would y'all do? Y'all would probably want the police to have that. They make it sound like every time you go to Walmart, somebody with an AR going crazy. I just went to Target. I went to Best Buy. You know what I mean? I got a new keyboard, Thug Life. You know what I mean? It was $400. You know what I'm saying? Like, I spent a lot, you know what I mean, on this particular keyboard. I'm a gamer, all that, Thug Life. Disposable income, whatever. I didn't see nobody, like, going crazy on the place. But they want you to believe that. And in Chicago, hey, it's wild in Chicago. But the citizens are scared because they can't be walking around with a blick protecting themselves. Y'all don't even have reciprocity with different states. You know what I mean? Like, that would give you guys reciprocity. Like with Tennessee, I went there, I had my blick on me, and I can have it in a car traveling through Chicago, but I can't just, like, have it on me. I don't be going around just, like, laying people out. I use it to protect myself. Most times, if things happen, it's not with the people that have the legal ability to carry. A lot of people that I know that have those ARs, they use them strictly for the shooting range. That's it. They not out here wilding out in the cars. You know who not going to listen to you with your laws? The people that break the law. The felons that's walking around with them things that's on the street, you want them to have it, but you don't want us to be able to defend ourselves. That's all I get from it. Yes, I'm scared of him. He's crazy. I'm not saying you crazy. This is a crazy situation. These liberals, they be wilding.
Thug life. Say nice things about him. Now that some lunatic took some shots at him. Here, let me be super clear. If you're on the left, I know the right-wingers love their guns and Second Amendment remedy, and they've been riled up to do violence nonstop. But if you're on the left and you do any violence, you are not one of us. You're a stupid person who does nothing but make a worthy cause look immoral.
Hey, I'm going to give you, I think his name is Sink or something like that. I'm going to give you your credit, right? Because you are on a major platform, Piers Morgan, and you are saying that it is immoral, that it's not bright to be doing that, you know what I'm saying, to a candidate. I like that he said that. So I'm going to give you a point for that. Yeah, your attitude is kind of scary now. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Halloween coming up, I don't know. I'll be looking around like, you know what I mean, somebody, if I'm walking down the street taking my kids trick-or-treat and somebody come out yelling out like that, he's got to calm down, bro. Your blood pressure is going to get crazy. Piers Morgan is super calm.
Moral with your insanity. Never do violence. Is that clear enough?
Or maybe when they constantly hear on the airways people like you and Hillary Clinton and others constantly depicting Trump as an existential threat to democracy
guilty,
in America.
Piers, you're totally guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. Because you support Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has done 2,000 times worse, and you know it. You won't even run it on this show.
Okay.
You won't even run it on this show because Donald Trump, what he says is so much worse than anything a Democrat has ever said about him. So you won't even run it on this show. So that's it. Are you telling Donald Trump, you better shut up?
Didn't we just watch a Democrat say that? We literally just watched one say that Donald, like somebody needs to put their hands on Donald Trump.
Along with a bunch of other wild, crazy crap. This is MSNBC, folks.
And this man is running around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities, right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he
said that she needs to bust him in his mouth. Everybody is calm. He's looking at his watch. Everybody's calm but him. Y'all see that? He going crazy.
You better not say any of those gross things that you always say. You know that he joked about smashing Nancy Pelosi's husband's head in with a hammer.
Yeah, and the truth
One
is,
of his lunatic fans tried to murder Nancy Pelosi's husband, and he's like, it's so funny. Do you know that when they try to murder his vice president, he then turned around and said he deserved it? He's a psycho. And you defend him every day.
Let him talk on his platform.
Here's the problem. You have no idea what I've said about Trump when he's done these things. If you had, you wouldn't accuse me of not talking about them.
Because people were actually saying he's too liberal. You have no idea. You're so enraged. Like he doesn't even know.
Shut up.
Because I always do.
Hit the like button, Thug Life.
Tell him to shut up.
I want to bring in Candace Owens here. Candace, look. We're 48 hours after the latest assassination.
Candace Owens. Woo! Jesus. I'll rock with Candace Owens. Let her talk. Shout out to Candace Owens.
Attempt. And I'm listening to another liberal who I respect. I've had Cenk on a lot on this show. Absolutely losing his mind about how despicable Donald Trump is.
Jason Jeffords III says 83% of police stations are spending 2% more than him in 2019.
And what a threat he is and a danger and so on and so on. exactly the kind of rhetoric that.
Hey, Danielle H, right? Danielle H already know what's about to happen, right? They get into it. Candace Owens tells him, because he's going to keep cutting her off, and she's going to, like, son this dude. And she's going to be like, sit on your hands if you can't control yourself. So you already know what's up. Hey, shout out to Danielle. She already know what's up, thug life. You know what I'm saying?
Trump has said.
Sugar Black know too.
He believes is fueling these people to try and kill him. What do you make of where we are with this?
What I make of all of this is that if you are going to legitimately tell people that someone is a monster, that somebody is a dictator, that somebody is literally Adolf Hitler, if you're going to tell people that this person is a constant threat, why wouldn't somebody try to eliminate that threat? That would actually be a sensible thing for somebody to do if they believe the rhetoric that is coming out of people's mouths.
Look at him. He is so mad. He is fuming. He can't believe how eloquent she is and what she's spitting. He is so upset right now.
I would be definitively saying how wrong it was. I would be saying to people that despite the fact that I do not want her to be president, of course, she is not so much of a threat that she needs to be shot. They don't stop this rhetoric because they do not want these assassination attempts to stop on Donald Trump. And I want to be very clear. The circumstance that we find ourselves in the West is one of remarkable privilege. And when you're in times of remarkable privilege, it creates actually an issue of having a lot of weak men, right? Weak men are the ones that are going out here like proclaiming that Donald Trump.
No, like you, because you cannot let her finish talking. Your emotions.
Trump is a threat, proclaiming that Donald Trump is somebody that is a dictator because they've never had real conflict in their lives. And you're about to see that example right now, the difference in the demeanor between someone like Cenk and Eric Prince, who I greatly respect, and who is somebody who has seen real conflict and understands what real threat is, right? He understands real threat. Cenk is somebody that grew up, obviously, with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's never had to fight for anything in his life and has never had to put his life before somebody else's. So it's very easy for him to behave like this, demonstrate like
she is clipping Cenk. He don't know what. She is eloquently cooking you. Wait a minute.
Like a toddler who is throwing his toys out of the pram when he doesn't get what he wants. And so he heightens his rhetoric and says, why am I not getting what I want? This man's a dictator. This man's a threat. And he's not being realistic. And it's embarrassing to our country, whether it was a person on the right or the left.
You guys haven't addressed it at all.
Cenk, I promise you are capable of
He wants to
control
terminate the
over yourself
Constitution, so
for
you
3
like
minutes
that?
as somebody else speaks.
Let me bring in Eric. Eric, you are a former Navy SEAL.
And a patient.
And a very patient former Navy SEAL, yes. You know, when I look at what's happened here, there are lots of strands to what's going on. And we'll come to the security aspect around Trump, which I find pretty scary, actually, that twice people have, with extraordinary ease, got into position.
Chantel Lovato said she puts him in his place. Cenk is going to stroke out. Yo, she is
to assassinate him in the space of 8 weeks, which I just find quite remarkable and shocking and shameful and a disgrace that the Secret Service has allowed that to happen. But before we get to that, this whole...
They saved his life.
Well, they didn't save his life. They put him in a position where his life nearly got taken. That's the truth. I mean, because they didn't even check the perimeter.
The guy didn't even get off a shot.
They didn't even check. They didn't even check the perimeter of the golf course before he was exposed for 4 hours on that course 8 weeks after he was shot. It is unbelievable that anyone from the Secret Service would claim anything but a dismal failure of their preparation to protect.
Thank you, Pierce Morgan. He is... I like Pierce Morgan, bro. That's my dog, bro. That's my dog, bro.
Protect the president, in my opinion. But we'll come to that. Eric, what do you make of this debate, which is raging right now, in this debate now, about the rhetoric and the responsibility of people who are on the airwaves, who are in public life, to dial down the rhetoric?
Look, like the video clip you opened with, there's an enormous amount of apocalyptic language spoken by the left. Call it saying he must be eliminated, he is Hitler, and that unleashes every left-wing crazy to authenticate themselves by saying, I'm going to be the hero. This guy, this Ruth guy on Sunday, who was there for 12 hours stalking Donald Trump with a high-powered rifle with a scope, with ballistic plates up against the fence. And what did he have up there? A GoPro.
Yeah, hey, old Ed said, Chink, calm down, yeah.
GoPro. Why? He was trophy hunting. He wanted to be the savior of the left, to say, I'm the one that killed Donald J. Trump. Trophy hunting, saying, for people like you responding to words that you're putting out there. Why else would he have a GoPro?
No, he wanted to get famous. You're totally right about that, Eric. And I hate that. But the way that this whole thing has been framed as if the right wing doesn't do rhetoric that is 10,000 times more dangerous and violent over and over again. Trump's fans sent pipe bombs to every one of his enemies. Trump fan hit Nancy Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer, and Trump never even denounced it. How sick is that? That he never even denounced it. He laughs about it. So
think about all the things that people say about Trump and the liberal party, and Biden doesn't get up there and denounce any of it. It's like hard to keep up with what everybody, like if it was Chink's way or Sink's way, let's call him Sink. If it was Sink's way of really dealing with and doing things, Trump would never be able to talk about anything because he would be sitting there like trying to, denounce what everybody is saying. Or Biden wouldn't be able to say anything. He already don't say anything at all anyway, but he would be sitting there just denouncing everything that people say about the Republican Party. By his logic, that's how he wants the world to work. So if somebody says something about Nancy Pelosi, Trump is supposed to stop everything that he's doing, even though Nancy Pelosi said the most despicable things that she can think about with Trump, and even went against the American people multiple different times to make sure bills didn't pass through the House or even make it to the House. He's supposed to stop everything he's doing to show solidarity with Nancy Pelosi? That's insane. That is literal insanity.
if we were using the Trump standard, we'd laugh about him getting shot at, but I'm not as disgusting as Donald Trump is.
Nancy Pelosi's husband had an interlude with some bizarre gay lover. Trust me,
he wasn't on the right.
Oh my God, I'm on here with lunatics.
Now he's calling him a moron. Why are you trying to bully him? Can he have an opinion? He could have called you like a lunatic multiple different times when you were acting like a lunatic. He sat there, he allowed you to speak, and now you want to bully him and call him out of his name using ad hominem attacks. This dude is scary, man. This dude scares me, man. Like, he is liable to do anything.
Not on the right. Okay, just so you know, if you're going to call somebody else a lunatic, you shouldn't be
name calling. That is insanity. Nitro subscriber, shout out to you. Obey Jesus said Candace Owens for VP. I think she's making all the right moves now. People are really rocking with her. She's got a strong voice, and she's for the Constitution, and she's for a better America. I like her.
Behaving like one in the process.
When you say, but Cheng, when you say these right-wingers are all nuts, do you understand the irony, given you just spent the last 10 minutes literally ranting?
Yeah, I do, Piers. So I am loud and aggressive because that's what the Democrats and the left wing need to stand up to lunatic bullies like this. Candace Owens just said that the attacker of Paul Pelosi was not a right-winger when he is a Donald Trump fan and a deep right-winger. And Eric Prince, the lunatic, had said that he was a gay lover of Paul Pelosi, a conspiracy theory so unhinged that how am I supposed to respond to it? You can't have a rational discussion with people who don't believe in facts and logic. Piers, are you agreeing with these two lunatics that he was not a right-winger
you should have a little
and that
bit
he was
more
some sort of gay lover of Paul Pelosi?
Eric Prince as a lunatic. He served our country. You should have a little more respect and decency.
Yeah, no, he's a mercenary and a disgusting guy, by the way. How many people?
Oh, my God. What a bully, bro.
Did you get killed? Innocent people in Iraq, Eric. How many people did you have mowed down in Iraq, Eric?
Going back to your topic, Pierce,
wow.
Perhaps it's time to bring back 19th century behavior, which maybe we had a more civil society then. If people are going to throw all kinds of bombastic language, they do so because they do it without consequence. In the 19th century in the UK, people would call them out for a duel. It doesn't have to be to the death. It could be swords. It could be bugle sticks.
But you can just sit here, create an entire platform on bullying people, right? You weren't out in the field. You don't know what he had to deal with. You could just create whatever you want in your brain, your narrative, and yell. And everybody's just supposed to believe you. Because you're sync.
Maybe that would make...
Yeah, like, I mean, in real life, if he was just like, yo, let's step outside. Because you talking a little bit too reckless. Let's have a duel. Let's step outside. Like, what would you do? I bet you he'd calm down a little bit.
For a more polite society. I don't know. I'm ready to go there.
You see that? Piers, you see that? Who's the first to threaten violence? Of course, Eric from the right wing.
Yeah, but,
whereas
okay,
I
but
denounce violence.
Wait, what are you talking about, bro? He's lefty.
Crap. This is MSNBC, folks.
And this man is running around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities, right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous.
What? I hope Meghan McCain spills the tea on how John McCain really felt about Kamala Harris. And then another thing, you know what I mean? Sink, do you know this? Do you know that Tim Walz, who he said he's friends with, listen to this.
Spoke on this.
Y'all pay attention to this. Listen to this. This is literal insanity. And they're trying to cover this up. He says he's friends with the, listen to this.
So I will just, that's what I've said.
Tim Walz is so dopey that he makes Joe Biden look cognitively sharp. Joe has said some bizarre stuff over the years, but he's never claimed to be mates with school shooters.
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters.
Yes, Tim Walz.
These are your friends, bro?
School shooters.
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters.
Yes, Tim Walz is a masterful communicator, isn't he, Jen?
We talked about this a little bit when we were sitting over there waiting. I think Tim Walz is one of the best communicators out there in Democratic politics. And he propelled himself onto the ticket because he is such an effective, good communicator.
Violence. I denounce this strongly and loudly, and you heard it with your own ears.
But Cheng, what I don't think you appreciate.
Hey, William Thumb. Oh, not William Thumb. Walter Kinchin. He said, "What the heck did I just hear?" Yeah, you heard that correctly. He said that in the debate. They're trying to sanitize that from the internet. They do not want that getting out because he's such an effective speaker. He didn't even think how insane that sound.
Is how ranting, incendiary rhetoric of the kind you've unleashed so far in this debate yourself can, with an impressionable, unhinged person who believes everything you're saying about Trump, as Candace said, why wouldn't that person think to themselves, yeah, we've got to get rid of him, we've got to stop him?
Okay.
So my question for you is, if you can't even dial it down within 48 hours of a second assassination attempt on Trump's life, when can you?
So, Piers, now let's have an intelligent conversation. Hold on. About where are the lines? Where are the lines? So, wait, he asked me a question. Where are the lines?
It's a CBS debate. You got to be careful about sharing CBS because if they don't like that you're not liberal leaning, they will create an issue for you with a copyright. So you got to be careful about that. So they don't want that getting out.
So when you say, when Trump says these...
And he got cooked by Vance. JD Vance cooked him. They tried to fact check JD Vance, and he was like, well, I thought we weren't doing fact checking. Those were the rules. He put them in their place. JD Vance was so poised, articulate, and he smoked the debate. It's just what it was. It was a clear win. You had Tim Walz fumbling over his words. They asked Tim Walz, like, hey, what do you think about how the people feel about you saying that you were in China when you weren't? He was like, oh, well, I went to school and I used a GI Bill and I grew up in a small town. And like, he did the same thing come out. And I'll give CBS their respect, right? They brought the question back to him like, okay, but why did you say that you were in China when you weren't? And he was like, oh, well, you know, like sometimes I just, you know what I mean? I say things. Come on, Tim Walz. Hey, what he said, sometimes I'm a knucklehead and I say things. That's what he said.
Incendiary things that encourage violence, including laughing at smashing the head in of a political opponent's husband, that's what? Is that fine? Or he's bad too?
Well,
How
is it fine?
long does he have to pause saying
fine?
Violent things?
Listen, I've criticised Trump for lots of his incendiary language over the years. But as far as I...
So how long should he stop?
Hang on. So far as I know, he's ever called one of his opponents Adolf Hitler. And yet the left constantly...
Yeah, he did. He just called... I don't know about Hitler, but first of all... But Piers, you make it look like...
Here's my point. If the left constantly say, as they do, he's the new Hitler, who, by the way, murdered 12 million people with his Nazis, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. If you keep saying that often enough, as the left do in America, eventually an unhinged mind is going to think, I've got to stop the new Hitler. That's my point.
So first of all, I've never called him Hitler. But I love Sandra Day O'Connor's quote about, it was about Bush and Cheney at the time, about fascism. She said, we've got to be careful of these beginnings so that we don't get those endings. So what I'm worried about is a guy who says that he loves dictators and writes love letters to them, and that he loves it when everybody has to stand up and applaud. And
how come you're not worried about Vladimir Putin supporting Kamala Harris? Y'all see like what is he talking? Like, you don't know that? That's not a problem for you? That's not an issue. It's a non-issue. Russia we sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. They into it with Russia. And Vladimir Putin wants the Democratic people to be in office so he can continue to fight. Because he knows if Trump is in office, this all stops. But he got no problem with that. But even though you got no problem with that, and she's getting all this support from the Russians, allegedly?
Because new polls are out, and it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris. I have not been this worried in a long time.
Wow. You even had Charlemagne the guy from the Breakfast Club saying that Kamala Harris is out of touch with voters. He even turned. You don't see a problem here, do you? People are starting to look at America. And it needs to change. These last 4 years is unacceptable.
No one can disagree with the leader of the country. He loves it. He thought we should terminate the Constitution. When they said to him, hey, they're trying to murder, your fans are trying to murder your own vice president, he told Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, he deserves it. I have to tell people the reality about Donald Trump. So, Piers, what do you want me to do? Take a 48-hour break, a 72-hour break? Or maybe do you want me to take a month and a half of a break of criticizing Donald Trump
well, you know,
so he can win the election?
Richard Varnell says, triggered. Shout out to you for subscribing. Christina Guy said, and is still giving them money.
It was interesting what
she gave them an additional $1.5 billion. And when the North Carolina situation happened with the hurricane, you know what they got? A family like that, the household gets $750 that they can apply for. Initial $750. not per person. And you just lost everything. You lost your house, you lost your car, you lost your, you know what I'm saying? You don't know where your ID is. You know what I mean? Your wallet. You lost all your everything. But they can get $1.5 billion. And if this go, and what people, and they're complaining about the budget. They're complaining about the deficit. You know why they want to go after the rich and do an unrealized property gains tax on the rich? You know why they really want to do that? So they can continue to give Ukraine money and have other people pay for it too. But just like income tax when it was supposed to be just for the rich, eventually what happened? It came down and it became us paying the income tax. The regular folks are paying the income tax. So when they do unrealized property gains tax, which means like if you can potentially make a profit in the stock market, they want, I think her tax plan is more conservative in terms of how she wants to tax the rich than Joe Biden's. Because I think Joe Biden wanted to do like a 45% crazy tax, right? But she did want to do the unrealized property gains taxes. I mean, capital gains taxes, which is crazy. So like you can make $100 million, you can make $1 million, you can make 100,000, you can make 50,000. So we're gonna tax you on that because you can do it. But you didn't make the move, you didn't sell that stock, you didn't do none of that, but they can tax you on it. So when that trickles down to the regular folks out here, they're gonna, oh, you got an unrealized gain on your house. You didn't sell your house yet, but the property value showing that your houses went up. So we gonna just like slap you with a unrealized gain on your house. They could do that eventually. You think they hired 80-something thousand IRS agents for no reason? Maybe he thinks they hired them for no reason. It's not to go against the rich. It's to come after you because you know the big secret in Washington that nobody wants anybody to know? Obama's worth $70 million. But you think Kamala Harris is worth $50,000 or something? She one of them. She one of the rich people. Why do you think they never changed the tax code in Congress? Because a lot of them are millionaires. They will be taxing themselves. They don't want to change it. They're going to run and say, we want to change the tax code so that the rich pay. Lead you into the blind. You believe it. And they go around and hire 86,000 IRS agents for you. William Thumb said wages going up so people can pay more taxes. Wages haven't really caught up to inflation. But imagine her putting an unrealized, and you know what I mean? You working, you trying to get money for retirement. You got a Roth IRA. You done played the game, how, worked overtime, all that. You worked all your life. Put into the system, you know what I'm saying, into the market, and they come at you with, your 401k, whatever. Oh, you got unrealized gains here. You haven't taken your money out of the 401k yet, but it's unrealized. It's a gain. Give us some money. And then they turn around and they do a press conference and give it to somebody else. It's lunacy.
Watching CNN yesterday.
They going through something in Chicago, right? They found out like a politician in Chicago used $80,000 of the citizens' money to rebuild like her office. $80,000. And they were being asked about why did you use all of this money to redecorate? And they didn't know what to say. But they'll tax you to no end. They even tax you when you pass away. You leave some money for somebody, they gonna tax it. You get into a situation, you have an emergency, and you gotta sell your house. They gonna tax it. And if you keep your house, you're paying a property tax. And then if they can't raise their property taxes, they doing a reappraisal tax increase. Tax. And people don't realize why the gas prices be high. Look at what an actual gallon of gas costs. Then look at the tax. They're taxing you on each gallon of gas. Wake up! These people right here are not playing the game for you. There are people in the back with strings manipulating them and making them move around and pander to you. But the people behind the scenes laughing in the background at the Bilderberg meetings, thug life. Manipulating y'all. And you got Candace Owens telling you what's really going on. Even Pierce Morgan is being like down the middle with this. Calling him out on his lunacy. He wants to bully him. Oh, you're a lunatic. You're a this and you're a that and you're a that.
So my old network, for example, where CNN finally conceded on air that actually when Kamala Harris repeated this trope about Trump, that he called for they said there would be a bloodbath if he lost the election. Everyone knows that's untrue. That's not what he said. He talked about a bloodbath in the automobile industry. CNN finally admitted that on air, but Kamala Harris repeated that in a way that implied he said there would be a literal bloodbath. So when it comes to rhetoric, yes, Donald Trump has a lot of incendiary things that come out of his mouth, and I wish he didn't. But
hey, hit the super chat. Shout out to y'all. Thug life. Hit the super chat.
So does the left, Jane. And your utter refusal to accept that anyone on the left can be even remotely responsible for creating an atmosphere where two people now tried to kill Trump, I think is very disingenuous.
Let me be clear. So number one, on the bloodbath comment, on the day of and ever since, we played the whole clip on the Young Turks and told everybody he did not mean violence. He talked about an economic bloodbath.
So why did Kamala Harris pretend
honest
that he
about
did?
it. We've never called him Hitler. And so, but Piers, I can't sit here and not tell you that he didn't try to end our democracy, because he did. So I'm asking you now for like the fourth time.
I'm going to get the other two to respond to this, but just want to bring in just very quickly the Republican Congressman Corey Mills. Corey Mills, thank you very much indeed for joining me. We're having a
Corey Mills, we're ready for you to cook, bro.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're having a very heated debate, ironically, about the heated debate raging around America, which may or may not have played a part in these two assassination attempts. There's an irony there.
Hit the like button if y'all can. Right now, we got 66,700 views. Shout out to y'all.
Well, there's not an irony. I've been listening to the complete instability, and I'll remind Cenk and others that we should go back to Henry II, who actually sat with his knights and said, "Is there no one who can rid me of this meddlesome priest?" His knights took that rhetoric to mean that they should go and murder the Archbishop of Canterbury, thereby actually resulting in an assassination of an individual. So I think that Eric is correct and Candace is correct that Cenk should just probably sit on his hands for a moment and just listen to what hate and vitriol he is spewing and why things have continued to ratchet up. I think that we all need to look at political violence and a condemnation and also take a response to say that this isn't something that we want to continue by taking down the pressure and the heat which is boiling within America and start looking at things with understanding that civil discourse is acceptable, that political discourse is acceptable, but ratcheting up the violence and this type of rhetorical, type of threats is just not to be accepted here in America.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Walter Kenshin, he's a subscriber. Shout out to him. He said, Candace Calm is amazing, very intelligent and beautiful woman.
And on the separate issue of Trump security, I was staggered to see the acting director of the Secret Service, who's replaced the one who resigned after the rally shooting, basically doing a kind of victory lap on television, where he claimed everything they had done was fantastic. It all worked perfectly because one of his agents spotted the barrel of a rifle poking out of a bush and fired in that direction. Didn't hit the shooter, but scared him away. But I'm sorry, why was no one from the Secret Service thinking it would be a good idea to even check the perimeter of the golf course, given that people know where Trump plays?
Well,
They knew he was in Florida. They knew he was likely to be playing golf at that course. And the guy went and positioned himself for 12 hours right where the media go to get a clean photographic shot of Trump. I mean, it just almost, it's beyond parody, this.
Well, Pierce, if I could just go ahead and say that this is the second time that a perimeter and security bubble failure has existed. You look at the 150-yard shot by Thomas Crooks. You now look at this attempted plot to assassinate the president within 500 yards. This is why I've argued for a long time that there's three critical failures within the U.S. Secret Service, and it has nothing to do with funding. This has to do with the fact that, one, we have prioritized DEI over meritocracy, and two, the ability to conduct an actual threat assessment on a principle, that being the former President Donald Trump, and then looking at your threat mitigation strategy should not be dictated and determined by the title or the position you carry, but by the actual threat itself and what assets and resources are required to mitigate that threat. So the reality is while they're touting that this is a great success, as Eric can tell you, and look, I'm a United States Army combat veteran. I'd served in the 82nd. I've worked overseas on different protection details. I can tell you that the best way to mitigate a threat is to forecast it to prevent it from occurring in the first place, not to play reactionary. And so extending out a perimeter bubble, guaranteeing the threat assessment and matrix of security mitigation, and guaranteeing asset resources should be the first priority. But we have poor leadership in the Secret Service, we have DEI prioritization, and we have a failed strategy on how we actually allocate assets.
I mean, I've known Trump nearly 20 years as a friend, and I am genuinely concerned about his safety. I genuinely fear that between now and the election, he could actually, someone could get successful.
That's sad. I mean, like, shout out to you, Pierce Morgan, for highlighting how, like, insane, like, the climate has gotten with this. Shout out to you, man. Like, because we don't need anything happening to Trump right now. We cannot go through another 4 years of this lunacy that's going on out here. And whoever is trying to take him out, I'm wondering why. Like, maybe he is anti-establishment. Maybe that's why they're trying to take him out. I want to go for that guy. Is it just me? Like, y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comments. Is it just me, or do you want to just go for the guy that they're trying to take out? Like, all the tax dollars that was spent trying to get Donald Trump convicted of something, all of that effort to try to stop him, and he's still able to run, that wasn't able to stop him. And so now they want to, like, try to take him out a different way. Bro, but I seen something. I want y'all to see this, bro. The dude said bad words, bro, so I don't know if I can... Let me see this. This guy breaks down the appeals situation that's going on with Trump.
Trump fraud case went before the appellate court this week, and by the time it was over, the closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just...
Shout out to Celtic with the $5 donation. I appreciate you, bro.
Just them begging...
Celtic, shout out.
...to not get sanctioned. So look, many people...
So basically, I think he said some bad words, so I don't want to do this because it'll end up like limiting the whole video when he does this. But he basically said there's like an appeals court, and I think it's like 5 judges, that they had to go up in front of the judge and argue, you know, why they believe that Trump is guilty on whatever, right? But it turns out like the appeals court judges was kind of like almost shaming these guys, like, and kind of making it look like that they should be in trouble for how they approach the case, you know? So he's kind of like giving a breakdown of this.
So the Trump fraud case went before the appellate court this week, and by the time it was over, the closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So look, many people aren't aware that the Trump fraud case went before the appeals court this week. And if you don't know how an appeals court works, there are 5 judges that sit in judgment for these cases. And they basically let the prosecution and the defense both lay out their cases. And their job is to consider whether or not the case was worth hearing in the first place. And it went so bad.
He's about to start cussing, but it went bad. And so they're just like begging the judges not to sanction them. But if they had like a super clean case, why would they be worried? But you don't hear that in the news. The fake news. You don't hear them talking about it.
Assassination attempts are coming, you know, with alarming regularity. Two in 8 weeks. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, that's exactly right. Not to mention the fact that you can't go ahead and assess the threat under President Trump to that of, say, a former president like Bill Clinton or Jimmy Carter. We have to look at the fact that President Trump is not only one of the most loved individuals, but he's also one of the most hated, and not just by the threats we've seen domestically, but that of the fatwa, which was declared by Iran after the successful counterterrorism strike by Qasem Soleimani and also Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes. The fact that he was successful in the elimination of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS or Daesh. And so we have to start looking at the fact that while they can continue to try and claim that the incident that resulted on J6 was an incitement of violence through dangerous rhetoric, why can't we assume that the incitement of violence that resulted in the attempted assassination on January 13th or recently isn't of the same caliber, and why can't we treat it the same?
Yeah, exactly. Ralph Oswald, shout out to you for subscribing. He says corrupt. And then Dark Maitri said, thank God those judges knew the law and practice it. You know, they want to keep their position. They're not trying to get caught up in all this political crap. Like, they want, you know, at the end of the day, they want to keep their position. But a judge can, you know, like a federal judge can be removed, you know what I mean, and replaced, you know, by a president and stuff like that. So,
and so, look, I've had
they kind of just want to keep everything clean.
Multiple discussions with Eric. Eric's a longtime friend. He's a patriot, former Navy SEAL combat veteran. The things that Cenk was saying about him couldn't be further from the truth, because I think Eric's one of the best. But I'll tell you, I think at this point, until we can get new leadership in the Secret Service, we actually need to be thinking about private security on the internal bubble of the president, utilizing former soft guys and pushing out the Secret Service assets in the bubble to do clearance and prevent this type of incident from happening in the future.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to happen. Congressman, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Piers.
Let me bring back the panel. Candice, I do genuinely feel very apprehensive about what is happening and what may happen. And I dread to think what would happen in America if somebody did actually...
Yo, look at this, bro. Somebody just sent me this. See, I'll be looking at what y'all be sending.
Limited to...
So it says, at some point, you stop just reading the approved script unless you literally have sold your soul, right? It says, only a handful of apartment complexes have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. It says, we don't hate the media enough. Only a handful of apartment complexes have been taken over by the Venezuelan gangs.
A handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting, because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more.
Hey, tell her what it is, Vance. Tell her what it is. Thug life. You talking about only a handful? Like, what? Vance is about to smoke her, bro.
About that problem than anything else here. We've got to...
Exactly. Hey, Dark Maitri said no apartment should be taken over. They said, oh, it's only a handful of Americans dealing with this problem. That's insane.
Get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do...
Did this lady really just say that? Only a handful?
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes.
Y'all share this video out a lot of like the controlled news, they will not tell y'all this. Subscribe to the channel. We are breaking it down. Thug life.
Assassinate Donald Trump, as they are repeatedly trying to do.
Yes, I mean, I was completely underwhelmed by the immediate reactions, even from Kamala Harris, you know, just that simple tweet, and violence has no place, which felt like it was copying.
Hey, y'all, and then another thing, shout out to y'all. We need to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers so we can like actually get into the algorithm more. We're at 75,880 subscribers. Shout out to the 300 and something people, 380 people that subscribed today. I appreciate y'all for subscribing, but we got to get this to 100,000 subscribers. Like, look, y'all got to understand, like these, like the TYT, like all these people. Look, he's got 6 million subscribers. And did you just hear, like, if you was in here with us, listening to this guy talk, it's insane. And he's got the ears of 6 million people. I have the ears of 75,880 people. I'm outweighed here. And I'm actually showing y'all things, like y'all would never have known JD Vance just talked to this lady and she's saying like, oh, there's only a few apartment complexes that's having a problem. We got to subscribe and get this channel to 100,000. We got an election coming up, dog. Thug life. And, you know, like, it's a grassroots movement. We all talking. Yeah, he got million, like, but the Kamala Harris campaign is struggling right now because of the grassroots movement. It's people talking out, they're speaking out. This is not okay. You can't just tell us that you grew up in a small town. Shout out to Sugar Black said, yo, I didn't see this. Like, are people not going to tell y'all? The grassroots movement is affecting things so much. People with 6 million followers. He can say anything on this platform. And he's saying that, yo, he's worried now.
Because new polls are out and it doesn't look good for Kamala Harris.
We got to get this to 100,000 subscribers. People like me need to see people like me with a different point of view. They being bullied in the hood, thug life. You got Obama out here like trying to get people, make people feel bad about not voting for Kamala. You know how much peer pressure that is? People got to go to school, go to work around people, and they might be having in their mind, man, like, I may have stumbled on the Piperboy Williams video, and, you know, I'm starting to think different because he just played all these clips and all this stuff that's going on. I don't know. We need more of that. People need to feel like, yo, there's another person that's because all they see is when they click on Fox News, they think that's what Republicans look like. They look like me too. Thug life. And the rhetoric that people like him put out, like, oh, Trump don't like black people and this and that. They need to see, hey, it's a lot of us rising up who got a problem with this.
Throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said? Or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is...
Oh, what? She just played the clip of him saying like they're concerned that they don't have the funds to make it through the season. And people have been saying, so y'all will not have seen this clip. Share this video out.
It's so misinformation and misinformed.
Crazy,
I just have a few questions. That's it. Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout, per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied? Just asking. I have another question. Did FEMA not designate funding of over $1 billion for a illegal migrant program called Shelter in Place in 2023 and 2024? Another question that I may be misinformed about. Did FEMA not designate funding of about $685 billion for illegal migrants in an emergency food and shelter program under this administration? I have another question, because we the people, we want to know. We don't want to be misinformed. Did the House and Senate, including Republicans, not pass the continuing appropriation bill, H.R. 9747, which provides more funding, but the disaster fund is still deficient, according to Mayorkas, because of mismanagement and possibly overspending? You know, that's the bill that y'all are running around and saying that the Republicans shot down or didn't pass. H.R. 9747. Go find it on congress.gov. Wait a minute, I thought of another one, because this may be the one that is misinformation. This is the one. Was there not testimony before the House Budget Committee estimating Americans paying over $150 billion annually to support illegal immigration? No, I got it. It's this one that's misinformed. It's this one. Have they not sent over $64 billion and counting to fund the Ukraine war? Dang.
Common Kelster, I see a comment. Shout out to Danielle H.
You know, that's the bill that y'all are running around and saying that the Republicans shot down or didn't pass. H.R. 9747. Go find it on congress.gov. Wait a minute, I thought of another one, because this may be the one that is misinformation. This is the one. Was there not testimony before the House Budget Committee estimating Americans paying over $150 billion annually to support illegal immigration? No, I got it. It's this one that's misinformed. It's this one. Have they not sent over $64 billion and counting to fund the Ukraine war? Dang, I forgot about this one too. I got a question about this one as well. This one probably is misinformed as well. Did they not send over $17 billion in aid to Israel since last October? And for my last question that I just may be misinformed about, this is the one. I'm misinformed, definitely, with this one. Did she not tweet a couple of days afterwards that she was deeply concerned about the security and well-being of the citizens of Lebanon and pledged a total of $157 million and bringing the support total of $385 million totally? It gotta be that one. And if you didn't catch what I said earlier, they're funding Israel and Lebanon, which Israel struck Lebanon. Just think about it. So no, we're not misinformed. Y'all just misunderstanding that $750 was never enough to give to American taxpayer citizens. So you can miss me on that.
This lady has just destroyed the entire Kamala campaign. They are not going to put that video out. CNN will never have her on to question her about that because she already showed the facts. Fake news will never put this out. Trump is so against black people. This is what they want to put out there. Why are we all rallying up in solidarity? Believing that America needs to be great again. Americans need to have more money in their pockets. That's what we believe. They believe other countries need to have more money in their pockets. They believe we should just sit back and fund all of these wars. They can promise student loan forgiveness. They could easily do it. We've already just seen they can do it because they just give billions and billions of dollars away like that to other people. They can easily do it. But they're slaves to the banking industry. People that are behind the scenes pulling the strings. Heirs from the Rothschilds and all these different people. So they'll always make sure those institutions stay in place, and you will always have to pay interest on everything that you do. But other people, they could just give them money, our money, like it's no big deal. Fund multiple different wars. It's no big deal. You got people like this who's got a megaphone with 6 million people watching him. He can spew out whatever propaganda that he chooses to. Yell, scream, say mean things to the people that's trying to politely debate him. But a channel like this that's showing y'all this, 75,937 subscribers. Does that make sense to y'all? What really pushes these channels, I'm really worried about. The battle is not with this. The battle is with this. And a lot of social media platforms give certain people the edge always to spew whatever they want, as long as it's in, I'm not saying YouTube is like that. I'm saying a lot of them do. They're protecting the interests, and you got people like this fighting against that. They've even went as far as to make up family members. And she had to expose it. Nobody's even interviewing her. Why didn't 60 Minutes ask Kamala Harris about the made up family members that Candace Owens found out? Why he asked that? Hey, Pyro. Shout out to you, Pyro Tracks. Everybody look at his comment right now. He's saying it, not me. If you look at the company that owns a lot of this, right? And who they contribute to, what party they contribute to, it all makes sense. That's all I can say. The megaphone is controlled. Doesn't matter like his affect, what he's riding for the people that's pulling the strings. He's set. This dude's got, bro, I've got 75,000. I'm good, right? He's crushing my numbers. Think about the amount of money he's making. It's ridiculous. Who is he really talking for?
And pasted from a PR firm. You know, there was no shock. There was no, this is absolutely wrong. There was no expressment of true frustration and disappointment, or even the recognition that that could be her, right? Like if you're trying to be a person that wants to be the president of the United States, this could potentially be you one day. So you should be outraged. I didn't sense that outrage from her. And rather what you have correctly attest to is they just kept going on with the rhetoric the very next day, which to me is signaling to their followers that this is okay. We're getting closer and we're getting closer, and we are fine with this. We're not going to turn down the rhetoric because you guys are responding correctly. One of the things that's really frustrating, I think, for a lot of people is to watch the way the media is is constantly allowed to detach themselves from the consequences of what they say, which is to say that somebody shoots up and tries to shoot a president, and the media is like, well, I was just calling him Hitler, but I never said to anyone that they should go shoot someone. And like I said earlier, what do you expect an individual to do when you are saying Adolf Hitler is taking the stage, when you are saying that we are going to completely lose democracy, which is so far from reality? It's embarrassing for Cenk to say that, because we don't have to imagine Trump as president. He already was for 4 years. People were living very well. The economy was doing very well. And so this rhetoric may have made sense in 2016.
Somebody said I'm selling out for a Trump hat. Hey, I sold out for logic, bro. That's what it is. It's logic.
It doesn't make sense now
Thug
in 2024.
life. Thug life. Make America better again. Thug life.
And so it's frustrating to see that. And I think what is good, though, is to allow people around the world to get this insight into what's happening in America, because you hear the left constantly purporting to be the side of peace, right? And then you watch someone like Cenk, right? And then you listen to people that are on the right, the awful people on the right. You listen to Eric Prince, you listen to me, and you're able to really comprehend who are the radicals in American society. Because you can scream peace, you can scream, oh, love is love all day, but you hear their rhetoric within 24 hours after a former president was almost shot, and they never dial it down. I mean,
exactly.
These people, I want and encourage violence all the time.
You see, Cenk, here's the problem. If this was Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, who had had 2 attempts on their life in 8 weeks, the idea that you would not, if anyone on the Republican side...
Yeah, that's what it is. Danielle H., common sense for Trump is what it is.
Use the kind of enraged, ranting rhetoric you've deployed in this debate today within 24 hours of it happening, that you would go completely nuts at the Republicans for doing that. Okay. So my thing for you is, you seem to think that the justification for all your rhetoric is that, well, Donald Trump does it. And that's kind of like the old school playground thing. Well, they did that, so I can do it. Where's your own moral line? Where's
exactly
your line that says, we're going to be better than that? If you genuinely believe that is wrong, that incendiary rhetoric is wrong, why do you deploy it?
So, Piers, no. The framing of this entire conversation is insane. So if somebody was just watching this conversation, they would think that I ordered an attack on the Capitol or that the left wing did. No, Donald Trump had a violent mob attack our Capitol, and then you make it seem like the left has the violence problem. And then I strongly and very loudly condemned any violence. Shooting at Donald Trump is the worst thing in the world. I can't be any clearer about it.
But you don't
any
condemn,
assassination attempt, any violence, any physicality.
Yeah,
Hold on.
You don't condemn any of the incendiary rhetoric.
Let me finish my point. I condemn it as forcefully as I possibly can. And then what do the two right-wingers do? They neither...
And I'm going to give him his credit, Sink. I'm going to give him his credit. He has, like, during this particular, like, situation with the debate, he has been, like, denouncing what people have been doing.
One of them condemned the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. Instead, they came up with crazy conspiracy theories. And what does that do? It encourages their fans to go, oh, yeah, well, it's not a big deal to attack our political opponents. It's not a big deal to attack the Capitol. It's not a big deal to send pipe bombs to Donald Trump's political opponents. So they encourage this kind of violence 24/7, and on January 6th, we saw it in spectacular fashion. And then you're trying to reframe the debate as criticism of Donald Trump, legitimate political criticism of Donald Trump, is somehow the thing that's causing political violence in this country. No, it is 98% right-wing political violence. The 2% where it's the left wing, I hate it, I despise it, I condemn it. I can't be any clearer.
Candace is cracking up. Yeah, shit, this dude is so insane. She is cracking. Shout out to her.
And yet, Cenk, the only attempts on candidates' lives have both been against the same guy, who's the Republican nominee.
So look, there are lunatics in this world. So those two guys are total lunatics. The first guy wasn't even a left.
Hey, hit the like button. We got 79,000 views in here. 79,200 views. Hit the like button if y'all can. We need to be getting these videos to like 100,000 views. You know what I mean? So people can see this. We need to be like subscribing to the channel. Shout out to y'all. But she is, she funny.
winger. This guy is totally unhinged from reality, voted for Trump in 2016, but it isn't about him being right wing or left wing. The point is that these guys are unhinged. So I don't want anyone taking shots at Democrats, Republicans.
No, but you're not
or Donald
prepared to
Trump or
change the way you
anyone.
speak about Trump,
But Piers,
which
you've
he
never
believes
answered my
is
question.
feeding
You've
and
never
fueling
answered my
it.
question. So do you want me to do a unilateral political surrender for the rest of the election because some lunatic took a shot at Trump?
No, but you know what? You could take a little bit longer than 24 hours perhaps, to consider whether the language from the left may have contributed to these attacks. Let me bring Eric in.
Shout out to Prince with the $1.99 donation. Appreciate you.
He's been, again, waiting patiently. I mean, Eric, it seems to me America is in a dangerous place right now. Yeah, this is not a game. You've experienced actual warfare, and we're now seeing people taking weapons of war to rallies, to golf courses, to try and settle their differences with people by shooting them. And in this case, it's Donald Trump that they want to kill. This is not a good place.
If your point of this panel was to explore the spectrum of political rhetoric, I think your guest in the middle box, Reps ipso loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. To call the January 6th such an insurrection, it would be the first insurrection in human history where people showed up unarmed. And if people are feeling nervous about the survival of their constitution, about their vote, people show up to a lot of rallies, and they should certainly be able to show up and not expect to see attacks. There was just another guy. There was an explosive found at a rally in New York today.
Well, I'll stop you there on that, actually, Eric, because that's now been discounted. They've actually said there were no explosives found. So since we've come...
This is 3 weeks ago.
We started this. That's been now discounted.
Good. But twice in 8 weeks, with what, 6 weeks left to go in the election, I really hope it's the last we've seen of political violence, because it certainly has no place for the Republic to survive.
Let me bring back Candace. I want to just talk about Kamala Harris for a bit and the politics of all this, because there's no doubt she's had a little bit of a bounce now from, taking over from Biden, from the DNC, from the debate win, where I think she won that debate with Trump by sort of feeding his narcissistic streak when he fell for it. But at the same time,
hey, thank y'all for hitting the like button. Y'all really have been smashing that like button. I appreciate y'all. It's very appreciated. You know what I mean? Because we can all be doing anything. You know what I mean? Y'all can be watching a movie. We can be watching a movie, but we in here figuring out what's going on.
She's giving very few interviews. And the latest one she gave, we're going to show a little bit of it now, to me was just a load of incomprehensible word salad nothingness. Let's take a look.
Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Women and children. We have seen with horror the images coming out of Gaza. And we have to take that seriously. And we have to agree that not only must we end this war, but we have to have a goal of a two-state solution, because there must be stability and peace in that region, in as much as what we do in our goal.
Yeah, Kyle Wario, he's a subscriber. He said, Pierce hit it on the nose. This isn't about politics. You guys are in a war for the future of the nation.
Is to ensure that Israelis have security and Palestinians in equal measure have security, have self-determination and dignity.
You see, Candace, and there was another one the weekend where she was talking about the economy and saying that, she grew up with people who were proud of their lawns and all this kind of thing. And in the debate, when she was challenged specifically about any policy stuff, doesn't really say anything. She didn't say anything there about this Israel-Hamas war, which is going to have any meaningful difference to what happens.
Exactly. Yo, he is on point. Yo, it's a reason why Piers Morgan is worth so much, bro. Shout out to him. He went to Lake Como, Italy. You know what I'm saying? I was there in April. You know what I mean? But shout out to him, man. It's a reason why he worth so much. This dude is like that, man. But obviously, he might have somebody in his ear, giving him some pointers. Or, it don't really look like it. He's rattling off these facts like crazy.
It's all this kind of, as she would put it, her desire for joy, for everyone to get along, everyone to be peaceful and happy, and everyone to be prosperous. Well, we all want that. But the more she talks about these things, the less impressed I am by what comes out of her mouth. What do you make of Kamala Harris, the candidate?
You know, I truly think that the reason that they staged an effective coup on Joe Biden was simply because obviously he had been in such mental decline that they couldn't hide it anymore. And they at least needed a candidate that could remember the lines. And going into the debate, and obviously we're still waiting for more to come out, but we do have that ABC whistleblower who said that she was given the questions ahead of time, which would mean that she was given the time frame to remember the answers. And she's good for that. Like, she can remember the answers and as if she's performing a high school play.
Yo, you said this hat is goofy. Get out my live. Thug Life. Get out my live. Come back for something else. Thug Life. Don't unsubscribe. Shout outs. Today, get out. Get out right now. If it's gonna be like that, you mad at me because I'm rocking the hat.
And that's exactly what she did. But when it comes down to it, the reason why she is giving such few interviews far in between is because she is not actually.
All right, so Ralph Oswald said, Piper, I'm a conservative guy here in Colorado, and I'm very worried. And he emphasized very worried about the survival of this country if the Democrats are reelected. Yeah, like, I mean, we even seen a guy, shout out to her, man. I want to show y'all this. This guy is actually in Colorado, right? And he has some words. Because, like, you're right. Like, people are concerned. People are worried.
Aurora, are you a resident?
45 minutes away from here. Yes, I live here.
Now, what has Colorado been like under the Biden-Harris regime?
Horrible. Actually worse than it was before because we have a very Democratic leadership. You know, it's interesting because I went to the University of Aurora, like the local college, and I ended up getting 2 college students registered to vote. One of them was 17. The other one was about to turn 18. They're both 18 now. And the point is, Trump is surging here. And the reason he came here isn't just because, he needs votes. He really can't win this state. He came here to offer the people hope. And I went to the...
Isn't that fire, though? Like, he knows, like, he can't even win that state. But he wanted to offer hope. Like, that's fire, bro. Shout out to
area where these apartments are being rampaged by Venezuelan migrant gangsters that Kamala Harris allowed here. And a lot of those people...
Yo, I didn't say it. He's saying it. Thug Life. He said it's being overrun by the Venezuelan gangsters. Thug Life, help! He's saying it eloquently, but this is what he's saying. So this is what's happening. He's in Colorado. They trying to... And we just literally watched J.D. Vance get into an argument with a lady because the lady tried to say, it's only a handful of apartment complexes. This is an issue. This is a problem. And they trying to let more people in here. Wait a minute. Help. Thug Life. Somebody got to do something about this.
Was 17. The other one was about to turn 18. They're both 18 now. And the point is, Trump is surging here. And the reason he came here isn't just because, he needs votes. He really can't win this state. He came here to offer the people hope. And I went to the area where these apartments are being rampaged by Venezuelan migrant gangsters that Kamala Harris allowed here. And a lot of those people in that area are just fed up. And a lot of them have been voting Democrat for a very long time. So where am I supposed to be looking at, the camera or you?
Either one, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll take care of the rest of it.
Very handsome guy, so
thank you.
It just works out.
Shout out to Ray Grick Chick said, well, I just subbed in part because of the hat and the words you were speaking. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I just think President Trump showing up here is like a beacon of hope. He's like Batman, except it's orange in the sky. So him showing up here is going to give a lot of people hope. And this is a very...
Yeah, so why you in here talking about my hat corny? Somebody subscribe because of the hat. So you get out of here today, sir. Come back for something else. Don't unsubscribe. Thug Life. So shout out to that person.
Blue Metro. So he's not even in the, my part of Colorado, which is super red. He's in, the, what do you call it? The Devil's Nest or the Lion's Cage. he's here, Lion's Den. So I'm very, very excited about this, and I'm gonna try to get in there. You guys better get me in if I can.
Shout out to him, bro.
Able to give comprehensive answers. She doesn't actually know what her policies are, which is why she flip-flops often on what her policies are. Her policies are essentially whatever she's told to say. On the issue of Israel and Palestine, it is a vulnerable area for her. She does not want to lose the Muslim vote in America, so she's trying to just say things that sound nice, present a bunch of niceties and sound kind, essentially going, we only have a few weeks to the election. As long as I sound like I want there to be peace, we won't lose the Muslim vote and people that
Hey, thank you, Tank Franklin. Thanks for being a subscriber and supporting this movement. Shout out to you.
Passionate about this hot button issue. So to me, I see her as a little more.
Hey, Simon. Hey, Simon said, don't unsubscribe, Thug Life. Thug Life. You can have a difference of opinion. If you get too crazy, you can leave today. But don't unsubscribe. Come back on another live.
More than an actress, somebody that is more effective than obviously Joe Biden, who couldn't do that anymore for them. But everything that you're seeing with her is performative. And I am happy that there are groups that recognize that now, like particularly Black men do not seem to be falling for this whatsoever. And people are calling into question why it is that she keeps flip-flopping on so many of her policies. I don't think there's much going on upstairs with her. And she's especially weak when it comes to speaking about economics. And you can see that. You even saw that during the debate.
Yeah, I mean, Cenk, I understand you don't want Trump to win. So obviously you're going to want the other side to win. But you cannot be impressed by what Kamala Harris actually says when she gets around to talking about policy. It's a lot of hot air, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so mostly yes. Okay, but let me be clear about a couple of things. So I'm honest. So that answer on Israel is terrible. That's basically her saying, I'll do everything Israel tells me to do. And by the way, she's taken over $5 million from AIPAC. Biden's taken over $11 million from AIPAC. Also, Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, his top donor is AIPAC. So anything that comes out of Republican or Democratic mouths on Israel is just paid for. Donald Trump, his top donor is Miriam Adelson, and is reporting in Israel that he might let Israel annex the West Bank in order to please his donor. So our politics is totally, utterly corrupt. On policy, I like some of the economic populist things that she put out there. I like some of it a lot, actually. The problem with Democrats is that they don't often deliver. This is stuff that they do for campaigning. Then they deliver about 5 to 10% of it, and then the press bully.
Yo, I'm thinking about going on Amazon and getting a Trump shirt, bro. Like, somebody super chat me so I can get a Trump shirt.
You into saying that it was miraculous historic achievements. The problem with the Republicans is they go 100% in the wrong direction. And here I was getting all ready to agree with the panel overall because I don't like that answer by Kamala Harris. But here comes Candace Owens to make up another conspiracy theory about an ABC whistleblower, which is hilarious and ridiculous. It's been debunked thoroughly. It's just a rando.
Well, has it been? Hang on. Has it been?
Hey, Candace Owens, defend this. Come on, girl. Come on. Don't let him talk crazy.
Debunked thoroughly, because I've been watching. Well, hang on. I've been watching ABC's responses, and I don't call that a thorough debunking at all. It looks to me like they're being very careful with the way they're wording stuff. And Bill Ackman's been on this, who's no fool. He's been doing a lot of tweeting about this, saying there's something weird about this. This affidavit was apparently signed two days.
Pierce is Pierce. Hey, when it's time for Pierce Morgan to step up, he don't play, bruh. I like Pierce Morgan, man. That's the thug life. Pierce Morgan, like, you ain't about to get up here and talk crazy to Candace. We going in. Like, shout out to Pierce Morgan. He don't know what to do.
Before the debate and so on. Now, it may turn out to be a load of baloney, but the response by ABC and Disney so far, Cenk, has not been very commanding.
So, Pierce, here we go again. You know who outed Donna Brazile for actually leaking questions to a Democrat, Hillary Clinton? Young Turks did. We found it in WikiLeaks, and when we originally exposed it...
So why would you be surprised if it happened again?
Right. So mainstream media said, oh, you guys are crazy, you guys are kooks. No, we proved it. You know what the difference between that story and this story is? We had evidence. There's no evidence here at all. This reminds me of Rush Limbaugh when he would say to his listeners, I have a fax. I have a fax here. Anybody can send you a fax, brother. Anybody can put
first of all, you're not about to diss Rush Limbaugh, bro. Rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. He's like one of the pioneers of the podcasting industry, the radio business. You know what I'm saying? He's made over, I think, like a few $100 million doing this. Like, shout out, I think he had like an $85 million broadcasting contract at one point. You know what I mean? Then I think he may have had another one for $200 million. He's made a lot of money. He went through a lot over this party, you know, so I do want to say shout out to him. And I didn't like what he said about that college situation, Rush Limbaugh, years ago when he called the lady the H word. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that. But overall, you know what I mean? I think his body of work has proven that he's been like a pretty decent dude. So let's not go in on Rush Limbaugh. He is not here to defend himself. And if Rush Limbaugh was alive today and he heard this dude talking, Rush Limbaugh would be going crazy with his golden mic, talking reckless. Like, so, like, don't try to throw some jabs in because Rush Limbaugh is not here, bro. Like, don't do that.
A fake document online, you have to show that the guy was actually from ABC.
Well, that is just
well, you know what? Yo, are they? Yo, did they just cut this dude's like feet? Nah, bruh. Come on, Pierce. You said you subscribe to Thug Life. Shout out. Yo, this is hilarious. Look, she trying not to laugh. Yo.
Conspiracy theory. Cenk hasn't just... I don't know where he's gone. It's like a scene out of Star Trek. While we get Cenk back, we'll bring Eric in for a final word from him before we let you go, Eric. Kamala Harris. It just seems to me at the moment she's profiting just by default that she's not Joe Biden. She's not a guy in his 80s who lost his marbles and clearly had the early onset of dementia.
Hey, Sugar Black, they can't trick us no more. Like, we see what's going on.
And that because of that, because she's 20 years younger and a little bit more with it and can string a sentence together, she's getting a little bit of bounce from that. But I do feel the more I listen to her and actually think, what is she saying, the more mystified I am about how she would run America.
Exactly.
That's a frightening question. When you look at her debate performance compared to even the interview she did a few days later with the local Pennsylvania affiliate, let's just say the quality of delivery of answer plummeted. So the jury's out on the question of that whistleblower yet, but just look at the significant deterioration of her performance. I don't know. Yeah, she's the perfect shell puppet for a administrative deep state that specializes in the bureaucratic imperative is to grow government, is to enrich itself and to gain power. And that certainly seems what the Democrat Party is all about, being the party of warfare and more taxes and more regulation and certainly regulating free speech.
Eric Prince, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We're going to let you go now, but thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution.
Hey, let Candace Owens get like the final say
to that part of the debate. We're going to move now to this other huge story in the last 24 hours, the blast.
All right, well, shout out to, she back.
Well, I think a question that I immediately want to ask him, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to, is that if you're able to delineate how surgical and precise these operations can be with the intelligence that you have, why are there 40,000 dead innocent women and children and civilians in Gaza? Because that's a question that I've always had. We keep hearing the excuse that behind every one of these victims is a Hamas soldier, but there's not 40,000 dead Hamas soldiers. And if the excuse is that there's a tunnel under there, I mean, just me thinking logically through engineering, you would only have to hit a tunnel at a couple of points to render it ineffective. So I'm just interested in why you guys can perform surgical procedures, but seemingly not in Gaza, where it looks like just an absolute war zone and buildings and hospitals and children and women are dead.
Well, on that point, let's get a response from Jonathan. It's a fair question.
It's a very fair question, and I appreciate it. And I'd like to make a comparison. I'm sure that you follow events, and you're very interested in what happens in Israel and with what our enemies are doing, and I see that. But I'm sure that you know that until this cyber operation that Israel reportedly did, Israel was able to kill more than 500 Hezbollah operatives in Lebanon, throughout Lebanon. Now, I haven't seen you tweet about it or any of the other people who usually support the other side, But if you take a look at how many civilians were killed in Lebanon as a result, as an unfortunate byproduct of Israeli strikes, and if you compare that to the situation in Gaza, I think that what you will find is it's the same IDF, the same operating procedures that we have in Gaza, only that here in Lebanon, until now, the situation is that Hezbollah has so far distinguished itself from civilian population, and they haven't been fighting from within cities. And as such, when the IDF has deployed lethal weapons against them, then terrorists have been killed and not civilians. And it's not because it's a different IDF, it's because, as you said, you used the word excuses, I would call it a reason and the sad reality of Hamas using Gazan population as their human shields, which I think is deplorable. And if you claim to be a defender of Palestinians and Arabs and other people, and you have that in your
Lamar said, here we go.
heart, and I think that your criticism should be pointed first and foremost towards Hamas and all of the other cowards who are using Palestinians as their human shields, who are afraid to fight out in the open.
Hey, Bone Spurs, man. We can't go in on Candace Owens, bro. That's the homie, bro. But we rock with her.
Who are firing rockets from schools and who are using mosques as their launch pads against Israel. That, I think, is despicable, and that should be condemned. Not the fact that we are going in there to fight them after they attacked us on October the 7th. But by all means. I didn't issue a condemnation.
I didn't issue a condemnation. I asked you a question, and you just delivered me the same talking points that we always hear. And you didn't actually provide me an answer.
I actually did.
If you are
I gave
able
you an
to go
explanation.
to a foreign country, you guys have control over the Gaza Strip, right? It's a part of Israel.
No, it isn't.
If you are able to go into a country like Lebanon where you don't have control, where you can't just shut off their water, where you can't be monitoring people's actions in the same way and within the same proximity to Israel, why are you unable to similarly perform a surgical operation to locate where exactly those Hamas soldiers are? And by the way, do you have a number for how many Hamas soldiers have been killed in the Gaza Strip?
Right. So, I mean, you either weren't listening or maybe I wasn't clear.
How many Hamas soldiers have been killed?
Yeah, I heard your question,
Strip?
Candace. I heard your question. Maybe you weren't listening or I wasn't clear. I'm usually clear when I speak, but I'll repeat it. Israel has been able to take out more than 500 Hezbollah operatives and with absolutely minimal collateral damage in Lebanon. Why is that the case, which is different from the situation in Gaza? Because Hezbollah hasn't been hiding amongst civilians yet. Hamas is, and that is why, unfortunately, Palestinian civilians in Gaza have also been killed in significant numbers and many have been wounded. If I were you, I wouldn't use Hamas information. I wouldn't rely on Hamas statistics and to claim for them to be true.
I'm asking you, I'm not asking Hamas. How many Hamas soldiers have been killed in the Gaza Strip?
Yeah, I'll answer, and it's nice that we're having an interview and Pierce is getting a few minutes off. According to the information that I have, and this is working numbers, I don't think that there are final numbers, and I think it will take a lot of time before a definite number of dead Hamas terrorists is given. But the best assessment that I am aware of is between 16 and 18,000 Hamas operatives that have been killed in combat in Gaza.
Oh, let's bring in Cenk. Why are you laughing?
Because that's an outrageous, ludicrous number. Even the IDF doesn't make up numbers like that. Once they said 13,000, then they went back to 9,000, and this gentleman right here just made up 16 to 18,000. So Jonathan, do you concede that Israel has dictatorial control over Gaza and the West Bank, that it's a different situation than a sovereign nation that could have military or different barracks or can separate folks? It's like saying in occupied France, well, why was the resistance hiding among the civilian population? So of course we had to kill all the French who were protecting the resistance. So the problem is that another country, Israel, has dictatorial control over Gaza and West Bank. I mean, you've got to acknowledge that, right? I mean, you're not claiming that Gaza's free. You guys just destroyed 95%.
I think that the only thing ridiculous...
If I may say that, I think we're focusing too much on the Israel-Hamas war, which we've done a lot on this show, as you know, with you guys, right? I would rather, Cenk, just get your reaction to a specific operation which appears to have been conducted at Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel's instructions, and carried out, primarily led by Mossad. From an operational point of view, obviously a stunning success. But is it valid? Is it fair game, as Jonathan said, given the way that Hezbollah has been attacking Israel now for years?
Yeah, so the most important part of this, Piers.
And then Simon Flip said, I love how every Trump hater can't ever have a logical, practical, oppositional approach. The ones that do quickly become conservative. Shake my head. No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I was one of them too, like Simon. Like I was like, I'm a Democrat, and then I had to like defend this stuff, and I'm like, nah, bro, it doesn't logically make sense. That's why I switched.
Is why did Israel act now? Because, look, you could say, oh, Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, so we should have gone into Iraq. No, I don't think so. You could say Hezbollah are terrorists, but then Israel has killed 30 times the civilians that Hamas has, let alone Hezbollah. So is the Israeli government, the IDF, and Netanyahu terrorists?
But you don't dispute that Hezbollah has been targeting Israel for years.
Okay. Yeah,
firing
yeah.
rockets
Israel's been targeting. Israel bombed Beirut, bombed Damascus.
Forget Israel for a moment.
They bombed Tehran.
But do you accept,
they bomb all their neighbors.
Yeah,
but
do you
hold on.
accept,
Why now, Piers?
Specifically,
Why now?
do you accept
Hold
that Hezbollah has persistently targeted Israel with endless rockets? Do you accept that?
Oh, they've launched rockets, no question. And I'm sure you guys can see that Israel has dictatorial control over Gaza and the West Bank.
But don't go back to that. So is it fair game, as Jonathan said, if it was Hezbollah terrorists who were specifically targeted through their pages, is that fair game given the state of the warfare between Hezbollah and Israel?
Look, I can answer that question, but we've got to get to the more important question.
Well, answer that question first.
Hold on, I'll answer it. So did they check that the 2,800 people and the children near them and the other civilians near them, that they were all, quote-unquote, terrorists before they decided to murder all of them? Now, luckily, only 12 died, but 2,800 were injured. No, they didn't check. And by the way, buyer beware of Israeli products. Apparently, they have bombs in them. Okay,
do you suggest we send them a warning?
Question is why
you
now?
Remind me of when the BBC asked me if we should have warned the Hamas terrorists who were keeping our 4 hostages before we went in to save them. Why didn't we warn them before? Because civilians were killed in the combat. You are just as ridiculous in your pontification and in your acrobatics to try to smear Israel. You're really unable to say black is black and white is white. And look how low Piers has to go.
What y'all think about all this in the comment section? I have to be very careful about talking about this. What y'all, I kind of want to let this play, but YouTube is real weird about stuff like this. He said, we gotta vote, y'all. You know what I mean? We gotta vote. Shout out to y'all.
In order to get you to say something against Hezbollah. How low does he have to go in order to justify Israel defending itself?
It's easy. It's easy. I call out Hamas and Hezbollah all the time. I wish they would never fire any rockets. I wish there would be no violence.
Right.
You, on the other hand, are totally okay with killing 30 times the number. Hold on, let me finish. You're okay with killing 30 times the number of civilians that Hamas did. Obviously, that's terrorism on a mass scale that Israel does.
No, it isn't.
But you say it's okay because we're the good guys. So that makes you terrorists.
No, it.
I can't really let all this play. You know, I have to the reason why. All right, so y'all know I'm on a subscriber climb, right? And I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. The reason why I want to go ahead and get 100,000 subscribers, because there are there's a lot of things I want to talk about in politics and sometimes entertainment. When you get the 100,000, you get certain protections. You see what I'm saying? You get, the channel becomes verified. You seen a channel with a check or whatever? That's the 100,000 subscribers, right? So with that, I will be able to play different type of, right now I've got communication with YouTube and they help me with different things. They're trying to help me figure out how things work or whatever. And my communication with them has been pretty good. And the channel is starting to take off, right? And so I do want to say a special shout out to YouTube. But with the 100,000 subscribers, I would be able to certain type of things, you know what I mean, that we really need to be delving into and talking about. I will be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we at this subscriber climb right now. You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody. Trump Spurs said, played a phone call of Trump begging for 11,780 votes. But isn't Kamala Harris begging for votes right now? I think that's what she doing, bro. So Obama creates angrier black man. Let's listen to this.
So I'm under the impression that some of you black men don't like the fact that another black man telling y'all who to vote for. Well, if it wasn't obvious who to vote for, we need to tell you guys who to vote for. Because obviously you're stupid. Obviously you don't get the picture. Obviously you too weak of a man to let a woman run this country. You too weak of a man that you have been your asshole over and let a white man get full immunity, plus let a white man give police full immunity.
Do you guys see how simpish and racist and prejudice and bias and
what is up with guys now becoming simps? What is up with them? And they will simp out for people that don't even like them. This is the biggest he's I'm gonna stand up for women so hopefully I can get a date. He's come on, bro. Obama just called Obama just is trying to humiliate us. And you just standing up and you think Obama gonna call you or something like that. What is this thug life? Thug life. What are you thinking, bro? This dude has lost his marbles. He's playing right into Obama's hands. I think he thinks police officers get full immunity. That's not how that works. Like, they get qualified immunity, which means if they are following police protocol and policy, they are protected. But a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say a lot of times, but when things go wrong with the police, like the Floyd, like with a lot of those type of situations, qualified immunity does not work because you do not get it at that point because you're going against policy. There was a congressman that was on the Breakfast Club that talked about this because people have like, you know, they're trying to scare, it's a scare tactic. Like, oh, you don't want more police. Police is going to, you know, do this and that and the third. And he kind of killed that argument with qualified immunity. And I love the way he did it. And this is a congressman breaking down qualified immunity. He also talks about, you know, the inflation and everything.
Most law enforcement has about 40 million or more encounters every single year with citizens. If you remove qualified immunity, I'm telling you this right now because I've talked with law enforcement officers all across the country, not the chiefs, the officers. They will.
This is a congressman telling you this. Listen to me. He telling y'all what it is. Qualified immunity and everything. Listen to him.
Not be working these communities. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm from Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I may not have always loved having the police in my neighborhood. And that's just a thing from a kid. I may not have always loved it, but when I needed them, they were there. And a lot of our officers today, they're black, they're Hispanic, they're white. So removing qualified immunity only lowers the number of officers in communities. What we're seeing right now is a movement of policing from states where they're not really respecting law enforcement to states where they do, or there's not that moral support for law enforcement. I was in my district yesterday. I was talking with an officer who's from Philadelphia. He was a Philadelphia officer. He now is a Fort Myers officer. I asked him, I was like, well, why'd you make the move? He goes, because up there was no support for me as an officer for what I love to do, which is serve my community. So I said, enough is enough. I'm gonna move. He went to Florida. My sheriff in Florida, he's like, I have more applications coming from officers who are in states or in localities where they're not getting the moral support or whatever they need to continue to do their job day in, day out. And so they're leaving. Well, who does that hurt? That hurts. Who does that really hurt, though, Charlamagne?
Yeah,
because if you don't have officers
if
you don't have officers on the streets or officers, you know, in urban areas, who's really left in that lurch?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what does qualified immunity have to do with having less police officers?
Because
why would that?
Because the economic incentive.
Bro, like if I'm a police officer and I do not have qualified immunity, I'm not about to be a police officer. Like, why would you be a police officer if you have no qualified immunity? You out here serving and protecting. Things can go wrong, right? You out there, you doing a traffic stop, somebody pulls a blick on, something happens. And you gotta like do what you gotta do. You might have like 5 people in the car wilding. You gotta know, like, yo, I'm out here. You gotta feel confident that I'm going to be protected. I'm going to try to do the best I can. I'm in a messed up situation, or you get called to, you know, like a B&E, you there, somebody running, you trying to catch them, like, all, you know what I mean? You got to be thinking, like, you don't want your personal stuff to be at risk for you doing your job. That's for the ones that's really doing what they're supposed to do. But if you tell me, like, if something happens, even if I'm in the right, I can be sued because there's no qualified immunity. Oh, I'm not about to be a cop. I'm going to be an EMS worker. I'm going to be a firefighter. I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be I'm doing something else because I'm putting my life on the line. I need to be protected. That affects the market for policing. Some people do go too far with qualified immunity. You know, and sometimes the police precincts like back them and they go too far. That's the problem. You know what I mean? But you have to have qualified immunity. But if they're not following the guidelines, qualified immunity does not apply to them. So listen to what this congressman is about to tell him. Because remember, this guy, like, he's a Republican. Charlemagne the God is not. So Charlemagne the God is going to try to veer you off track. He's going to try to, you see what I'm saying? Because he's working with the Democrat, allegedly. Thug life is what it is. But listen to how he breaks down qualified immunity.
Who's really left in that lurch?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what does qualified immunity have to do with having less police officers?
Because
why would that?
Because the economic incentive of qualified immunity means that your personal assets aren't gone after if something goes wrong. So, you're in business. Do you get involved in a project or a deal that leaves you massively exposed financially? You may, depending on your passion for that project, but then you also sit back and think, now, wait a minute, if something goes wrong, I'm going to be held massively liable. Maybe I need to do something.
And also, hold on. So an example of something going wrong, right? Let's just say there's a robbery in progress, right? They go there and they're trying to save innocent people. Somebody who is the perp, right? The perp starts busting at the cops, right? So the cops is like trying to, busting at them, but one of the stray, we're going to call them beans that come out of the, the blick bean, right? There's a stray bean that ends up hitting somebody. Unfortunately, may go through the wall, whatever, because they may have a rifle. Somebody gets hit with a stray. Somebody could even be in there, but they're trying to put this dude down. And there's like collateral damage, unfortunately. Somebody gets hit. Now that officer is liable to lose everything. And the whole reason he's there is to put the perp down. So if you are an officer and you do not have qualified immunity, what would make, like, you gonna think twice about going to that. You got to go to the call anyway. You might go a little bit slower trying to get to the call. You see what I'm saying? Like, people don't think about, like, qualified immunity. Yeah, I mean, I'm a black guy. I be getting pulled over by cops. Thug life. They do. And, like, I don't like it. But I also understand, like, I've been in situations, we talked about them before in a different live. I had to call them for something. You know what I'm saying? Because I was about to have to use my blick. So we talked about that. You know what I mean? So sometimes, like, we need cops. If you don't have them, y'all be seeing cops like, not cops, but like people just speeding down the street. You be like, where the cops at? Now, I can't speed like that. I speed like that, they gonna get me. What a popo. So we need them. And we have to allow them to be able to do their jobs. And this is me being real, right? I know it ain't a good thing, like in certain cultures, to like cops. And some of them be bad. But some of them are not. Some of them really took the oath to serve and protect. I've met some of them before. So, I don't know. But I think qualified immunity, I don't think that should be, I think there needs to be an adjustment to qualified immunity. But to get rid of it, nah, I think that's crazy.
Maybe I need to do something.
When something goes wrong, we're talking about people getting violently hurt or killed.
Yeah, clearly.
And I named people that you brushed over.
But it's like the lady that was in the house, right? And she called the police, because police do get out of pocket. Thug life, they do. And she called the police. She thought somebody was outside of their house. Massey, whatever. They ended up, like, escalating the situation because they didn't feel like she had the authority to be able to call and to protect her. That's how they felt. So they popped her when she was like, she was way away from them. They go ahead and they pop her, right? And she passes, unfortunately. And the cop, I think he ended up like getting arrested for it like later on. But as we seen the footage, he like cussing her out, like, she like passed on and he's still going in, like, and he's the one that escalated the situation. But in that, like, qualified immunity does not protect him, so he can be charged. You see what I'm saying? But it does need adjustments to where, like, if you do something like insane, you need to be held personally liable. That's what I'm saying. But what this guy is about to say is that if you are going against policy, qualified immunity does not protect you. This is a congressman. Thug life.
When somebody clearly violates a constitutional right.
And when you violate a constitutional right, qualified immunity doesn't apply to you. And that's what I'm talking about. It does not. And Angela, don't do that. It does not. I thought that was the definition. I thought that was the definition.
No, it does not. I thought that was the definition.
No, it does not. If you carry yourself outside of the confines of your training and the protocols of that department, qualified immunity doesn't apply to you. It does not.
That's not true.
That is very true. That is very true.
That is patently
that
false.
is no, it's patently true, and we need to make sure we have that accurate. We cannot make.
How are you gonna tell a congressman, like, who is this girl, bruh? How you gonna sit there and tell him what it is? He about to pull the papers out on her, bro. Well, he pulled the papers out on her when he was breaking down how Kamala Harris like cast the vote, like with the inflation and whatever.
Make that statement, because you have a lot of officers out here who do their job with honor and dignity and respect for the people that they serve.
And I think, you know, more emphasis need to be put on them, like the people that do actually do what they're supposed to do, who may walk the beat, may, you know what I mean, help people in need. There are some of them out there like that.
Well, it says, qualified immunity is a legal doctrine that protects government officials from civil lawsuits when they perform their jobs unless they clearly violate a constitutional right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And what is a violation of that right is when they're outside the norms of their training and the protocols of that department or that agency.
But here's
Yeah, she was like very annoying. So we were talking about qualified immunity and he just broke it down.
Every other is that you can find that these people are. Now, you know me, Anton always like to leave credit or give credit where credit is due. So you'll see their link back to their profile.
Hit the like button. Stop playing with me, Thug Life. I've been in here for hours. I've been talking to y'all. Subscribe. What y'all doing? It's like, hold on for a minute. Wait a minute. Subscribe to me. Do I gotta say it again?
Description. Always like to give my fellow content creators credit, but you know, I'm not even mad anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a bothersome thing because they're trapped in their own hatred for other people. And this is how you know, no matter how much you give a person, it's always within. Before we even get to the political aspect of things, it's always going to be within of whether or not a person actually want to evolve and become a better version of themselves, because you'll never, ever be able to cure hatred with more hatred, ever. And it's funny when I say that I'm no longer a part of the Democratic plantation or I refuse to get on code. What that means is that I rock with people that rock with me. If you love me, I love you back. If you hate me, I got to distance myself from you, because that type of energy, that's the type of energy that keep you broke. I guarantee you, every single person that I've ever encountered that was black, that spoke like this, was dusty. They was broke, they were dusty. And the funniest part about it is they need Trump and these Republican policies more than anybody else in the United States.
Exactly. Thank you, Anton. It be the dustiest people, bruh. Talking about, like, come on, bruh.
America. They last, they broke, they dusty. They then work for the very people who they hate. So usually it's a white man's corporation or company, or that's their supervisor, or all of the above, that then is telling them what to do. And guess what? They willingly do it on a regular basis. They don't have the ability to create a job for themselves. They don't have a business that they're running, that they're only accepting.
Yeah, he is absolutely correct. 100% correct.
Payment from or compensation from people that only look like them. They are a part of the cog, a part of the system. They don't leave this earth in a better space had they not been here. And all they ever spew is hatred for other people. Their entire platforms, and I don't even know this guy, but I could tell you, because y'all sent me this to react to, and I appreciate y'all. And again, I always like to give credit where credit is due when I can find a person that's the original content creator of it. But every single bone and fiber in their body, they wake up bothered, angry. I hate the white man and all of this stuff. And they're always going to be broke. He don't, listen, as pro whatever that he's saying, where really he just anti-white people and all of this stuff, as pro whatever as it is, think about two things right now. Number one, his first statement, and that we not man enough to be led by women, shows you completely out of purpose. Simp. Begging for the affection and the love and the adoration of women instead of leading like a man and dropping your balls. Begging for the adoration of women.
Exactly. That is insane. Dudes be so thirsty, they will do and say anything. That's why I be telling y'all, man, like, don't be messing with dudes, girls out here, because like these dudes will do anything for that hiney. Like, they will do like, be careful with these dudes, bro.
And simping and thinking that that's going to get you anything other than a kick in the butt. It's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. And it's okay, though, because everybody can't come. Everybody can't be successful. Everybody can't win. Everybody can't run it up. And so they built their entire following off of hate. And they got to stay on that hate plane, because if they ever have an awakening and they ever realize, wait a minute, I should be treating people based off of content, character, and they're wrong. That's the worst part about it. Wrong is two left shoes. Don't even understand immunity. Don't even understand the proposition of what immunity means, especially when it comes to police officers. And most of the police officers is usually policing within their own communities, meaning that they look like you, but they still hate them because they hate the uniform. They don't even know the person at all. Police immunity does not absolve the police from being responsible for when they step outside of the law or their training. But you know what? I'm not going to explain it because it don't even matter. Sometimes you just got to let it happen and let people suffer and go through it. And then they just going to be dusty for the rest of their life until they eventually pass the generational trauma onto their children. And then hopefully maybe their children, you'll never reach them.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to y'all. Hey, y'all, this is crazy. We got 100,000 views on this video. That's all y'all, like, liking the video, subscribing. Let's see, we got 100,000 views on this video. That's shout out to y'all, bro. Y'all ain't playing, man. Y'all tired of like regular news, like trying to like scam and all that. Like, y'all, like, shout out to y'all. And we ended up getting, hold on. We got 600 subscribers today. That's crazy. Like, that's shout out to y'all, man. All of y'all for supporting. Means a lot to me. You know what I mean? Somebody said it takes case law to get passed.
Stuck in their ways. They've been programmed to think like this for their entire lives. But hopefully one day, maybe their children, if they decide to breed, which is wild to me.
Hey, we're not about to diss Anton Daniel. Shout out to him. He put out some really good content. And he is for the people, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. But shout out to everybody. Sugar Black, thanks for coming in here and being a moderator. I appreciate you. You know, we will be back. I'm giving y'all like some intermission. I'm going to probably like chill for a second, go somewhere, come back. I may end up doing like an entertainment blog or something. Or maybe we even talk about politics again, or, you know what I mean, maybe do it in the morning or something like that. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to Sugar Black. Everybody rocking with me. Thug Life! They trying to take the one that they trying to take out is the one I'm going to vote for. Thug Life. Here's what it is. Get mad. We're not going to let no simps control us. We're not going to let Obama tell us what to do. We ain't rolling like that. Shout out to everybody. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to give a shout out to the chat. Tim Richardson. Colin Bradley said, mainstream media is a joke. New subscriber here. Like what you do, man. I appreciate you. Sugar Black, Press. We got Deformed Petty Boy. Shout out to you. He said, because the overall American public only reads at 70% level. And then, hold on. Shout out to everybody. But I'm out. Come and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Doug!